All right. Well, after a lot of technical difficulties, we're live. And so we're going to get to this a little quicker than we would have otherwise. You see, we've got a new panel of folks. Well, two new folks. So we'll go through this. If you didn't watch the first cast or the previous year's cast, here's what's going to happen. This is Lonewolf GT 2019. This is the second set of tables. So table, what is that, 18 through 35. We're going to go through that. This is going to be a player matchup of who's playing who on what table for the second half of the event for the first round. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell you who's playing on table 18, who their opponent is, what their lists are, and then the esteemed panel here is going to give their input about who they think is going to win the game and why, or who they think has a better list to give them the advantage to winning the game and why. If you get butthurt over people's opinions, you may want to skip this little podcast. Otherwise, listen in. If it's going to give you motivation to play better than maybe you would have, because you're going to be hungover or tired Saturday morning, then use it for that. Put it on the locker room. Yeah, put it on the locker room billboard and psych yourself out. So we'll go through this real quick. I'm just going to read it in the order I can see. So we've got Todd Serpico on. Todd, give us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm a TO here in the Austin area, Capital City Clash. I'm also one of the Facebook admins for the Fanatics page, and I'm sure everybody listening in has seen me around or met me in person. So, hey.
All right, Rashad, you're next, assuming you're back.
Hi, guys. It's Rashad. I'm from the West Coast, California, and I just got back to my desk running back. Sorry, guys, I'm a little loud.
You should not be running on that leg, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, I tore my Achilles tendon a few weeks back, but I'm glad to be here and to hang out with you guys because I've been bored not being able to see anybody the last few days.
Jeff Daniels.
Yeah, I'm the TO for Battles out of Houston. Running in August, second weekend of August. I've been doing it for about 15 years, and that's it.
And finally, Britton, you're up.
Yeah, I'm a West Coast player from the Bay Area, and TO for Bay of Kings, our late September GT in the area. Yeah, that's it.
Rock and roll. All right, we'll do the one last little thing, and we'll jump into table 18. What are you drinking, and what are you drinking out of? I have got a Fizziga out of Valdez, or no, maybe that's the name, Valdez Brewing Company. So they've got their coffee stout from North Carolina. Thank you, Lynn and Roy. It's delicious. Who else?
I'm drinking a Circle Brewing Blur. It's a Hefe from here in Austin. And I'm drinking out of my Fourth Tap Brewing mug. It's another local kind of microbrewery we have here.
Rashad, what are you smoking, and what are you smoking out of?
I'm smoking Alpine, and I'm smoking out of a Delta 9 vape. And I'm also drinking a Whole Garden Naturally Cloudy with beer.
Nice.
Because I'm getting like that.
Daniels, do you do anything?
Yeah, I'm drinking continuing on with my no-label Ridgebacks, and I'm drinking out of Bayou Battles 13, I think, glass.
Nice. What vegan soda are you drinking, Britton?
Virgil's root beer, straight out of the bottle, because I actually prefer it that way.
Oh, nice. All right, let's get started. We have table 18. Oh, no, we're doing 19, aren't we? We finished off with 18 yesterday, didn't we?
Yep. No, we did not talk this table.
We didn't do 18? Okay, I just didn't highlight it the right way then. All right, table 18, we have Mike Evans versus Mike Grajeda. This is a mic off. Who is reading first? Jeremy's reading first. Jeremy's not here. I will read Mike Evans' list. All right, Mike. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did Mike Evans, but
I thought we did it.
I'm pretty sure we did. You double check. Yeah, we've got picks for it. We did 18, Daniels, you dum-dum. Table 19.
Had a couple of beers then.
Yeah. Someone's farther in than the rest of us. Table
Do it again.
19, we have David Smith versus Mark Taylor, and this is a challenge of two former War Machine players. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in a different venue, realm, game, whatever you want to call it. And Todd, you've got David's list, and Ryan Smith is not here, so I'll get Mark Taylor's list. There we go.
Cool. Yeah, so David is playing Night Stalkers. He's running 2 regiments of Reapers, one with the Brew of Strength and one with the Chant of Hate for Vicious. He's got a Legion of Scarecrows, 2 troops of Phantoms. He has 2 hordes of the Butchers, one with Pathfinder. He has a horde of Fiends with the Brew of Sharpness, a Shadow Hulk, a Screamer, 2 Horrors. One of them has Blizzard, and the other has taken Bane Chant. A Reaper Soul Drinker with the Banner of the Griffin, and then both the Grim Harvest and the Butcher's Block formations. And so Grim Harvest, if you're not familiar with the Night Stalkers, is that the Scarecrows and the Reapers are all going to get Life Leech 2. And then the Butcher's Block gives the Butcher's Hordes and the Shadow Hulk Brutal, and the Shadow Hulk also gains +1 speed.
It's pretty good. All right, so here's what Mark Taylor is bringing. He is bringing Empire of Dust. He has a horde of skeleton warriors with the fire oil. He has 2 regiments of mummies, an enslaved guardian horde, a regiment of scavengers, and they've got the crystal pendant. That's a fun little unit. He has revenant chariots in a horde with the caterpillar. He has revenant worm riders in a horde with Brew of Sharpness. He has a monolith. He has soul snare. He has 1 cursed high priest. He's given it heal 4, and he's mounted it. He has the idol of Shobik. He has Mortarbrus, and he's gotten the Mummy's Revenge formation, which for those of you who don't know what the Mummy's Revenge formation is, it's for 2 mummy regiments and the Cursed High Priest. Each unit of mummies in this formation is granted both elite and vicious special rules. So nice little build up there. Who's got thoughts? I'm not a big EOD player.
Well, you might want to mention Mortarbrus's power. That's pretty much key to this list.
Oh, is it?
Is chill mist? Yeah, he's got it gives stealthy to everything within
6 inches.
Not a lot of shooting in the.
I was going to say that's going to be really good against all of that
here.
not shooting.
That's the problem. So this matchup isn't what he wants.
Yeah.
That monolith is money though to help with the grind, or not the monolith, the soul snare.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are pretty nasty this year. I mean, list on list to me, I like both the lists in this matchup. I kind of like what the Night Stalkers have, but I think the big thing is David's still pretty new to Kings. Mark's a much more experienced player. EOD's pretty much his go-to army. He's got a lot of experience with it. He's been kind of refining what he does with them, and I just think that in this situation, that's going to be the difference. And seeing some of the things that he can do with Surge, and knowing targeting priority even, and he has a little bit of shooting to help out. So yeah.
So, first of all, are we not going to talk about a regiment of scavengers with the crystal pendant of retribution? Like, that's a spicy little ball in the middle there.
Definitely going to.
It's a good item.
Kudos for that.
That's probably one of the first things you shoot, though, right?
If you got the shooting,
He got shooting.
He's got Lightning 5.
Yeah,
He's got Blizzard.
yeah. I mean, I think the Blizzard's gonna. And what's the height on his Blizzard? Is it just height 1 though?
Yeah. No, it's height 1 infantry.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's still the possibility of hiding it a little, but
Maybe.
that one cracks me up. The other one is these are 2 War Machine players, ex-War Machine players, or maybe current. So I'm going to be a little disappointed if there's a painted model on the table, but we'll see. So,
well, I think this is probably going to be Mark's first fully painted tournament.
I thought he had Night Stalkers that were fully painted. Is he not tournamented with those yet?
I don't believe so. He's mostly done Trident Realms and EOD, and he's a Titan too. He's been inspired to try to pick up his painting game. He's been working on it, but he hasn't brought a real tabletop ready army yet. But I think he might be there for this.
Gotcha.
This is it, the coming out party. No, I mean both lists seem pretty well balanced and kind of want to fight and grind a little and hit stuff and have a lot of tools. I mean, I don't play either of these armies. I think that Monolith plus Soul Snare plus what's it called? Potentially, if he's hanging around there, Stealthy is going to be kind of dirty if they get into a just battle lines meeting. So I slightly prefer the Empire of Dust Army, but I think that's just because I know it a little better than I do the Night Stalker one. So I'm edging towards what I'm comfortable with.
Those butchers can be pretty fucking horrendous if they get into it.
Yeah, he's got David's got a ton of punch here. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of it's a mirror match. In fact, when you look at unit to unit.
Yeah.
But the Dust player also has 10 heal plus the soul plus the life drain life for the grinds.
Yeah, it's just that question you run into a lot, which is I'm looking at butchers which hit hard. The Reapers are actually like kind of nasty. One's got vicious, and awesome. The other's got Brew of Strength, so we'll be hitting at Crush 2. So that's a lot of attacks hitting on 3s with good stuff that might just pop things. They're not particularly fast, so it's going to be that game of getting Butchers and Reapers into the right spot, and Empire of Dust trying to say no, don't do that with my exploding carrion birds. But yeah, I like both armies. I'd happily play either side of this matchup. It looks fun.
Rashad, you've been kind of quiet. You got any thoughts?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been looking at both of the lists, and I really like that it's going to be a complete, just a battle in the middle somewhere. There's very little shooting in it. Everything is there's lots of bodies. I really like it. I'm kind of torn to make a choice which one I like better. They're both really good. The Night Stalkers one the horror has a weakness. I don't know if that might come into play.
So hot off the internet, I think we have the wrong list. Is that Mark or someone is saying for Mark that there's a different slight changes to the Empire of Dust list?
There might be. Let's go look.
And
well, if he dropped the crystal pendant, then he can't use that new list.
I'm pretty sure he dropped the crystal pendant, and I'm pretty sure that means he didn't drop his balls.
Let's take a look.
Because I was going to vote for Mark just based on the crystal pendant.
Well, now you know to vote against him.
Yeah. I do now. But my problem with David Smith is a distinct lack of Shadow Hulks. There should be at least 2, if not 3, in there.
Oh, yeah. So he sent a list, then he sent a different list, then he said, no, go with the other list. So in all of that confusion, it might be the wrong one. Too bad. Well, I'm voting for Night Stalkers then.
That's the sound of points being lost.
And regret.
He's not losing points for it. He's keeping those because both lists were in on time.
He just submitted 5 lists, but they're all in on time. So
yeah, well, tell me which one you want before the podcast, which he did. So he's good. So who else is going with Night Stalkers?
I am.
Jeff.
I'm going with EOD.
Okay, Rashad's going EOD.
I think it's got a little bit more survivability in that grind that's going to happen, and then Shobik's going to do really nasty things. It's going to get some flanks.
Todd, Brinton, any thoughts?
Yeah, EOD. I called that early.
Thanks.
The lists are close enough. I just think it comes down to player experience here.
I think it's a coin flip. Also, I mean they're really tight lists.
Yeah, it's same for me. I'm Empire of Dust, but it's like a 55-45. It's edging Mark's experience in the game, which is a nice way of saying that if he loses, it's not the list's fault, it's all him.
All right, let's jump over to table 20. We have another challenge. This was the most lopsided of challenges because it was the weakest challenge and then the most absolute beatdown dick kicker comeback. We've got Chris Davis versus Tom Anus. CD to TA. Let's see. Ryan Munsell is not here. So, Brenton, do you want to read for Munsell?
I don't actually have your list that says who's reading.
You didn't check your email?
I did, and the version I opened doesn't have names on the bottom half. But
Really?
I don't think we need to mess around with that. You can just say,
yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Brenton, read this list.
Yeah, read Chris's list, please.
Cool, on it. So he's bringing Abyssal Dwarves. He has 2 regiments of Decimators. They're not hordes, and he didn't bring 6 slave orcs, so I'm a little confused. Lesser Obsidian Golems. He has 3 of those hordes. One is with Han's Sanguinary Scripture, one is with Aegis of Alohi, and one is with the Brew of Courage. So he's got that giant defense 6 wall. He has an Overmaster with the Wings of the Honey Maze. He has 2 Abyssal Grotesque Champions. One with Blade of Slashing, one with Inspiring. It's like he picked everything I don't see in lists. He has an Ironcaster with Surge and Shroud of the Saint that comes with heal for War Engines, Golems, and Immortal Guard only. So he gets to bump up that heal to heal 6, I guess. Yep. He has a Greater Obsidian Golem. He's got Dravik Dalkin. He's got Infernok. And then he has the Heralds of the Black Flame formation, which we'll talk about in a moment. And the Mutated Mastiff Hunting Pack. He has 2 of those regiments with mutated throwing Mastiffs. So he's got mutated dogs throwing mutated dogs. So the Heralds of the Black Flame is 2 Decimator regiments and 1 Overmaster. Each unit increases their melee to 4 and is granting the Crushing Strength 1. And the Overmaster gets to Crushing Strength 2. So it makes those Decimators a little bit fighty, along with a little bit shooty. That's it.
Woohoo! Very nice list.
Rashad, you want to do Tom's?
Sure.
Cool.
Because I love Tom so much.
Who doesn't?
Stay out of our universal battle practices, man. No, you can always come and visit. Dojo needs to practice. So Tom Annis is coming with Basileia. He's got 2 regiments of men-at-arms. He's got 2 hordes of Elohai. They both have Vicious. That comes with the formation. We're going to get to that in a moment. He's got Paladin Knights. One with Macwor's Portion of the Caterpillar, the other one naked. These are going to have Elite, also coming from another formation. 2 Sisterhood Panther Chariots, regiments. Neas, Celestus. 1 Urlohai, who has got Hex, and also Vicious due to a formation. A War Wizard mounted on a horse with Critter's Call. The Loot. I'm sorry, no, that's a 2nd War Wizard with the Loot of Insatiable Darkness. Mounted on a horse also, and Blizzard. So it's 2 War Wizards, one with Critter's Call and the other one with the Loot and Blizzard.
The Loot's actually on the first
one.
Oh,
it's on the first one.
Yeah, the page split is weird.
No, sorry about that.
No, you're fine, man.
And then he's got 2 formations, Holy Lancers and Retribution of the Heavens. I believe Holy Lancers is what gives Elite to both of the Knight regiments, and Retribution of the Heavens gives Vicious to the Eloi hordes because they weren't good enough.
Yeah, they need some help.
They need some help.
Thanks, Stan King.
Thank you.
Fucking broken. All right. So that's a really good Basilean list.
Yeah, it's really
A
nice.
lot of shit to chew through. It's defense 5 and higher. I mean, the Obsidian Golems are the only ones that are really going to cause a lot of problems. The Grotesque Champions will help. Let's see and compare that to this.
I don't know. Infernox no slouch over there either.
No, he's not. But I mean, he's move 5. Is there a lot of surge? I'm not really seeing it.
He's got like 18 surge in there. I was playing it last Tuesday night.
So
Yeah.
the Iron Caster, and then where's the rest of it?
Dravik.
Dravik,
Oh,
yeah.
Dravik has it? Okay.
Yeah, and Dravik's elite with his. Also.
Oh, there it is, Surge 10. Okay.
I mean, I'll jump in. I mean, Chris's list is good. We can get some of those listeners out there drinking early. Some of this is going to be scenario dependent. If it's something that needs you to get across the board, then the Abyssal Dwarves are on their back foot. If it's something where Chris can sit back and grind, maybe. But and I do like both lists. I think both lists will do well in the tournament. But for me, speed kills. He's going to be able to pick out the charges he needs. And I think that Tom's got what it takes to take this one. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Tom.
Okay. Daniels, Rashad, Britton.
Yeah, so I mean, I generally try and look at these as like if I walk up to the table, which one would I want to be behind? Or if we have finished deployment and I'm looking across at the other army, how much am I shitting myself? And I don't want to see that Basilia list when I have on the Abyssal Dwarf side that much slow, sort of purposeful. It's just the whole thing can charge at once, take out a quarter to half your army, and then sure you counterattack, but it's just not bringing the number of attacks I think that needs to drop these units. It's a tough list. Like Jeremy plays a variation of this that I get stuck getting punched in the face with weekly. So maybe I just have post-traumatic stress from Vicious Alohi and Elite Paladin Knights. The quick thing is Tom was nice enough to put Vicious Elite into his
actually in the text
PDF so that the formation benefits, because like that comes up, you forget that the formation gives some weird rule and it doesn't factor in even though you're looking at the list. So that was either very nice of him or he's a forgetful player. I don't care which it is. It's nice. And then yeah, I mean that's the list I'd go for. I think the other one's fun and it'll do some cool stuff to some unprepared armies. But I'd slightly in this matchup prefer Tom's list. And also I am reading the chat this time. So apparently on the chat last time, Tom was trying to get me to like essentially troll me. So I just wanted him to know that this time, if I ignore what he's saying, it's not because I'm not reading it. It's because he's full of shit. So,
Nice one.
but I'm picking his army. So pluses and minuses.
I'll go next.
Go for it.
I really like both lists because the three lesser Obsidian Golem hordes, that's like such a good wall, and in my opinion, that's one of the best units in the game. It's one of the best shambling units in the game because we always talk about it like shambling units don't really need Pathfinder because they usually countercharge and they can't advance at the double. So Vicious is a really good unit to have on a unit that is defense 6 and has crush 2, so they're really, really good. But they're facing something that can go through them in one turn. So it's going to be a really fun matchup to watch. Wow, list on list, it's very close. I'm going to give it to the Abyssal Dwarves here because I really like the Golem the 3 lesser obsidian golems, and that heal 6 behind them. If played right, it's going to be very tough to go through that.
I thought the unit strength was going to be a lot closer than it is. It's
It is pretty close.
but only by 3. It's no, wait, no, I missed the hunting pack. Yeah, they're off by like 1. Never mind.
Yeah, and Tom's list got the punch for sure to do it. It's a table I would love to watch, but I give a slight edge to the Abyssal Dwarfs. And although I feel a lot of the maybe shooting choices in it are going to be wasted because they don't have Tier 2, but still good. So yeah,
You're going with Chris then, Rashad?
yes.
Okay. Jeff?
Yeah, honestly, I'm looking at this and really, Chris just needs 1 unit to stick, and then the surge in the flank, and you can start really rolling things with this. I played him last year at at Capital, and he was playing Abyssals that year as well and doing pretty well with it. I really like this Abyssal list. I think it's a lot better than what he ran last year. The addition of the hunting or the mastiffs to go and take cheap objective.
Mm-hmm.
He got slightly more. Well, he's got a fair amount of heal in here where it looks like Tom is hoping to just punch something and then Iron Resolve what little he can. I think I'm giving it to Chris.
Okay, there you go, Chris.
Plus, Tom's sportsmanship powers will have no basis here.
As long as we're talking lists here, too, I know I already called my pick, but just no one's really mentioned. But those grotesque champions, those are something you really don't see Abyssal Dwarf players playing. But Chris has some good things he can do with his list. He has really upped his game recently, I think, and they actually work real well with this list. Yeah.
All right, I get to break the tie. Tom, all day because of that challenge. Got a fucking solid list too. Like, I think the list is going to give a lot of problems if it's any sort of scenario that requires you to spread out. I mean, as long as it's not the dominate style scenario, yeah, it's Tom's all day. Plus, Tom can write, so suck it. Go ahead, get mad, internet. I don't give a fuck. Table 21. We've got another challenge. We've done like 3 challenges in a row. This is awesome. We have Brian Brodeur versus Ryan Smith.
That's a great table.
It's going to be a drunk table is what this is going to be.
It's going to be a very well painted table.
So Brent and I just had you read, so I'll read Brian's and Ryan's because they rhyme.
I mean, I can read one as well. I'm ducking out in the middle of this thing for a little while.
Oh, that's cool. Pull up Ryan's and I'll read Brian while you're doing
No problem.
All right, so Mr. Brian Brodeur is bringing ogres. He has a horde of red goblins. He has a horde of warriors with Brew of Strength. He has 1, 2, 3 hordes of siege breakers, Caterpillar, Dwarven Ale, and Chalice of Wrath on those guys. He has a horde of boomers with the Heart-Seeking Chant. He has an army standard with the Diadem of Dragonkind. He has a warlock. He's got Drain Life 6, Aura of Heroism, and Banner of the Griffin. He has only 1 Boomer Sergeant with the Inspiring Talisman. That may come back to bite him in the ass.
Boo.
Yeah, why wouldn't you take 3? Everybody takes 3. 1 Red Goblin Bigot. It's mounted. It has the Crystal Pendant. All right, suicide, bro. I love it. He has a Colossal Giant, and he has Namagakrok, or Namagakrok, however the fuck you say it. And no formations. All right, so that's Brian's list.
Cool. So over here we have Ryan bringing Forces of the Abyss. So we have a horde of lower abyssals, 2 regiments of succubi, 2 regiments, Todd, regiments of tortured souls, a regiment of Heliquins with the Potion of Caterpillar, an Abyssal Harbinger, and a Freet with Blessing of the Gods, an Abyssal Temptress with Banechant and Blizzard, which is again tasty. Well of Souls, Archfiend of the Abyss, and Cronius.
Yeah, the Archfiend is flying with lightning bolt.
Are they ever not?
Well, sometimes.
I do. I honestly, I forget that they don't come with wings.
Yeah.
It's just one of
They
those
almost
things.
always do.
Yeah, and then the Cronius with Drain Life. So,
Oh.
yeah, fancy.
Actually, kind of a fun little idea on that.
How does?
That is very nice.
Am I confused? Yeah,
For what?
nice. Well, it listed in the right hand block, and I was just confused if that was coming from the item or if it had natural Drain Life, because I'll fully admit I don't know what the new Cronius does besides
Maybe he
not
was
what the
ended
old
up
one
to
does.
buy it.
He has the option to buy it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay, so that's how it happens in both. But yeah, that's cool.
Adequate silence. All right. You know, if you told me this was somebody else's list for the Abyssals, I might believe you. This doesn't look like a prototypical Ryan list. Like, it actually looks pretty, not amazing, but it looks solid. There's some non-OP choices, but for the most part, there's some good stuff in there. Like the
it kind of looks like a 2017 list if it wasn't the Helicons.
Yeah, I could go with you there.
it's like he made the list and started painting it 3 years ago, and just finished it, and it's like, okay, I did all this stuff. Now what's the meta? Who cares? So
they're both very flavorful. Like the type of you don't see these typical choices on these units, like Siege Breakers with Caterpillar, Dwarven Ale, Chalice of Wrath, but it's really good choices, especially 3 of them. And then on Ryan's side, I feel like the Cronius with Drain Life is a really nice choice. And then the Temptress with Baneshine and Blizzard, like Brenton was saying, is very interesting too. And an Ifrit with Blessing of the Gods. Usually you see that with Boots of Levitation, but that's
exactly.
Yeah, so very flavorful.
It's a very unique list from Ryan. He's got some definite good pieces in there. I don't like the Cronius in that fashion.
Woo! The conspiracies are just swirling, man.
Yes. I have convinced somebody to take the terrible list so I can crush it. But,
I can hear heads exploding in Minnesota right now because you said that.
In the Becker household. Hi, John.
He's a dog.
But I mean, there's some really good units here in Ryan's list, and I think his list is one. Even though I don't love everything about it, I think it's one that can actually do really good over the course of the weekend. But to me, I look at those 3 Siegebreaker hordes, and unless you get around the side of those and start hitting flanks, other than the Heliquins, there's not much going through those Siegebreakers.
Yeah, there's nothing going through that.
Succubi are great, but I don't care if you've got Banechant, there's no crush there. And you're talking defense 6 high nerve units that hit real well back.
If he's pushing the Siegebreakers into the Succubi, he's fucking up. I mean, everything else is wounding the Succubi on 2s. You don't need to waste your Siegebreakers.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about what is Ryan going to have to put into those Siegebreakers? I mean,
practically nothing.
The Heliquins or hope his flyers can get a flank, but I mean, he doesn't have anything that he can put into those Siegebreakers to deal with them. And I mean, the X factor is, this could be the Jody Rum challenge where Brian has to be carried away. Come on, are you going to try to drink with Ryan? But unless that happens, I really kind of lean towards this ogre list. I like. It's not the ogre list I would build, but I like what he's got, and I think in this matchup, it has the edge.
I really wish that list had a double Boomer Sergeant, and I'm not super crazy about that Warlock build on them. The 3 spells is a lot for only. I think it's a detriment there because with that he could have actually put vicious and elite on the siege breakers.
Yeah.
I'd love them a whole lot more.
I mean, what he's looking for is it's the boost, right? He sits in the middle of the 3 hordes and
Yep.
has train life 9 with defense 6 siege breakers grinding up against stuff. That's
Yeah,
a handy little combo.
The drain
drain
life
life and the
time, though. If you're just trying to pump the siege breakers back up, because the siege breakers are going to pump whatever they hit. Like, I don't know that you need the drain life.
I take one or the other if it's me. I probably lean towards drain life, but the aura of heroism seems like you get the same thing for cheaper. I mean, hell, you could have found 50 points somewhere in here and thrown the Bard in. But anyway, I do like the Ogre list, the Ryan's list. He's gotten better. I think he's going to be able to manipulate some flanks, but the Ogre list has enough shooting to probably control that, especially if he does deny flank on it, and it's not a big scrum in the middle of the table. I think I'm leaning Brian.
Did you say Ryan or Brian?
Yes.
Broder.
Yes. And plus, he's got a hockey last name, so that scores points.
Well, and those Pierce 2 boomers, I didn't even think about those. I'm looking at Brian's list more and more, and I like it more. Just because everything is so punchy too. Piercing 2 boomers and then 3 siege breaker hordes, warriors with strength. At first, I was thinking Ryan's going to have the upper hand with the speed of the Tortured Souls and the Heliquins, but what are they going to kill in one turn? Maybe 1 unit of siege breakers, and the rest of the army doesn't move as fast, so he's not going to be able to move everything up. Anyway, not to give everything away, but I'm also looking at Brian's, and I think it's pretty nasty. It's a creeping up nasty, though you don't see it right away. Lots of punch in it. I'm going to give it to Brian.
Alrighty. Britton, did you put a vote in?
I had not put a vote in
Yeah.
because I'm
Still
I'm
working.
having an angel devil shoulder moment.
Always go with the devil.
Well, the devil picks Ryan, but I'm
There you go.
I do really like the ogre list. I like it in this matchup. I think there is something compelling and cool in Ryan's list that he has multiple flyers, and then he has some stuff that kind of wants to stay away and shoot. And I don't know, maybe there's some kind of avoidance strategy that can get played out where he's really not engaging much with those big sort of chunky, beefy, but slower ogre units, and he's just eating away on everything else. So I don't know. The head says go with ogres, and the heart says go with what I'm sure are beautifully painted Forces of the Abyss. So I'm going to go with the hobby side and pick Ryan.
Oh, okay. Not expecting you to say that.
Plus, he's got Tortured Souls regiments.
Yes.
Right. I'm actually going to go with Ryan also. Ryan tends to do really, really well on day 1 and then completely dog shit on day 2.
Yeah.
So I think Ryan's going to have a win that nobody's really expecting in this case because tactically you put Brian over Ryan, but
Are they doing a Friday night game?
I don't know, but I know one of them is going to be drinking Saturday morning, and it might be both of them. So we'll see, and it will be high proof if they are. All right, let's jump over to table 22. We have Clint Tinnell versus Dan Anderson. And Todd, you've got Clint, and I will grab Dan.
Just pulling that list up here. Clint is bringing Varangur. He has 2 regiments of thralls. He's got 3 hordes of the cave trolls, all naked. 2 hordes of the fallen, one with haste and one with whip of celerity. So both of them with a little extra get up and go. He's got the mounted sons, as you do, with the potion of caterpillar. He has a frost giant, a king on chimera with the mace of crushing, a cave troll king, and the troll king's horde which gives all 2 of those cave troll hordes plus the king the headstrong rule.
What is up with the format on this?
It's
did it as a
it's
PDF.
the view format from Easy Army that
Okay.
people don't normally use.
It's like it says the Easy Army, but it doesn't look like Easy Army.
It doesn't look anything like it.
Is he lying to me? Did he just like copy an image that says Easy Army at the top to fuck with us?
That's what it looks like. All right, so Dan Anderson is bringing Forces of the Abyss. He has a regiment of fleshlings, and they have exchanged their shields for 2 hand weapons. 2 gargoyles troops. He has a horde of lower abyssals. They have also exchanged for Crush 1, lower defense. A regiment of tortured souls, like you're supposed to. Here's a regiment of succubi lurkers with the Hammer of Measured Force.
So good.
A regiment of Heliquins with the Caterpillar. A horde of Abyssal Despoilers, with Brew of Sharpness. Oh crap, I missed my spot. There we go. An Abyssal Harbinger with the Banner of the Griffin. An Archfiend of the Abyss. He's got Wings, Lightning Bolt, and the Blade of Slashing. An Abyssal Warlock. We haven't seen one of these yet. He's got Drain Life 6, Blizzard, and Heart-Seeking Chant. He has another Abyssal Warlock. He's given that one Drain Life 6 and the Inspiring Talisman. And he's going to round it off with a Cronius who also has Drain Life. So we've got a lot of Drain Life floating around in here. Interesting. Let me go back to Clint's list real quick. What do you guys think? Anybody have immediate thoughts? Man, those Fallen are going to be fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just like, I don't know, I was reading Clint's list and I'm like, oh man, that's a whole lot of stuff that just smashed his face. I wonder what he's facing. It's like a whole bunch of other stuff that smashed his face.
With a little bit of chaff.
Yeah, I mean,
Not really. There's no Banechan in here, and there's no. Most of this is Crush 1, other than the Tortured Souls and the Heliquins.
And the Abyssal Despoilers with Brew of Sharpness.
Oh yeah.
And the Archfiend.
And the with Hammer Measured Force, so they're winning on 4s no matter what.
Yeah, the Cronius. It's just that, I mean, yeah, the couple big blocks aren't bringing a lot of crush, but everything else came pre-packaged. But I don't know. My gut is saying that in this format, there's just a little more in that Varangar list. They don't have as many little tools. They don't have as much chaff or things to sort of mess them up. But they have just a whole lot of beat sticks, and then a couple thrall regiments to stand around and.
Those fucking lurkers are move 7. Jesus.
Yeah. But those fallen, one of those fallen is speed 9,
and the other one charges 17.
Yeah, I don't like the whip of celerity because it fucks with my math.
Oh, I love it.
It's sneaky.
What do you mean 17? Nothing moves 17.
Like these do.
Yeah, that unit of Succubi Lurkers with the hammer especially is really good.
Yeah, man. And they got Pathfinder.
Those are going to be planted in the trees, though.
So good.
They're going to be coming out of the trees. They hit on 3s, bro. 25 attacks.
So.
And the lurkers, they have Pathfinder, so...
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
And stealthy. That's stealthy. That's nuts. That's pretty good. And it's net. Jesus
and it's Nair, so if they're sitting in those trees, come in, you're at -2 to hit us.
I mean, not that the Varangar is going to do a whole lot of shooting at them, but...
No.
Well, no, even in combat, if you're charging in and I haven't...
Within snare, yeah, I was looking at stealthy.
Gosh. I mean, Clint's got the speed to get more of those first charges, but I think kind of the X factor here could be that 18 drain life, some 6 of that with extra piercing on it to keep those things in the game.
Well, yeah, getting that first charge may hurt him because then he's going to be in drain life range, and if he doesn't pop what he's going after, then yeah, you're right.
He has to pop what he's going after.
Exactly.
Once he's in,
Daniel has more alpha. Like he's more likely to pick up units faster. There's a lot of crush in that Varangur list, but a lot of it's hitting on 4s. And even the Fallen. I mean, if they hit any kind of terrain, they're on 4s because he didn't take the formation to give them the Pathfinder.
Yeah,
like most people seem to be doing this year.
Honestly, I'm going to lean. I'll just jump right in here. I'm going to lean towards the Abyssal list, and mostly because of the chaff options that he has between the Gargoyles and the Warlocks, which are cheap enough that, I mean, that first kill with all the spells, you can trash that bottom one.
You have to be careful chaffing with them because even though they're large infantry, they're
still individual.
You can overrun through them.
Yep.
But
sure, you got to be careful, but you expect Daniel to know how to play the list, and anything that gets held up in this, exposing flanks, especially them cave trolls, are just going to disappear.
Yeah.
So I don't know these guys. Can we expect Daniel to know how to play the list?
I mean, Daniel's an Austin guy here. He's not had great tournament results so far, but I mean, he's playing with some strong players here, and he's doing a lot better lately, and I like this list of his. I don't know Clint. He's playing with Dojo, so there's that.
He's been around for years, though.
It's hard to draw any conclusions on players for me.
You mean he has good practice against very good players?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like both lists as well. I do like the cave trolls. I wish the third one had headstrong as well, so that all of them. I don't know. I'm weird like that, probably because I'm German.
Oh, you would have bought the dwarf.
Yeah, so that all three of them have headstrong, because I think headstrong is really good on them, because that's one of the few units where you get a 3-point pip to a -18 in combat, which is
pretty much
really good, right? It's amazing.
Exactly.
And the Abyssal player actually doesn't have much to go through one of those cave troll units in one turn, so the regen's going to come to play. Very close. I wanted to give it to the Abyssal player first, but I think that Varangur list with the trolls are going to be really good in this matchup. So I'll give it to him.
For me, list on list, I prefer. I definitely prefer the Abyssals list. I think it's a pretty good Abyssals list, even though I don't love that version of Acronius, but in this list it works. The X factor though is Clint playing with Dojo. He sees nasty shit all the time for sure, but I'm gonna stick with my Austin boy here and go Daniel.
See, for me, and again, I don't know what either one of them has been practicing as much against. So, does Clint get to play a lot of this style of list? Who knows? It's really going to come down to, does Dan know how to use his chaff? And if he does, if he learns how to peace trade, I think he would have an advantage against this. If he doesn't, I think it's Clint all day. I don't think it's even close. So I'm kind of on the fence there. I'm going to go with Clint on this one. I think we're just missing Brenton.
Yeah, it's super close for me. Both lists look fun. I've said that a lot. I apologize, but
I mean, that's good.
I just think the combination on the Varangur side of a really, really solid center with good nerve and a couple kind of regiments that he cares nothing about, combined with a whole lot of speed and hit from Fallen, Mounted Suns, King on Chimera. I just think it has just raw power. I think there's going to be a lot of tricks up the Abyssal sleeves. I think they're going to pull some of them off, and just stats are going to come through in the end. So I'm going with Varangur.
Okay. Let's jump down to table 23. This is another challenge. This is a future and past challenge because one of them is basically the exact future version by like 20 years, 30 years to the other person. So we'll see what Jeff looks like with pierced nipples and divorce under his belt. Let's go with Chris Gibney and Jeff Swan.
Did Gibney put a list in here?
Yeah, it's under L. It's LW Gibney Tentacles.
Yeah.
And I think tentacles is spelled wrong, but I don't think it's spelled as a euphemism, so I'm not sure what he was going for there.
Oh, I think
And
he
it's
is.
Trident Realm on Trident Realm.
Yep. So I'll do Gibney's list. Here we go. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 regiments of Thule, 3 hordes of Depth Horrors. One of them has Brew of Strength. The other has the Skull Pole. He has a Kraken. He has 1, 2, 3 Knuckers. He has 2 Naiad Envoys. One of them has Heal 3 and Shroud of the Saint. The other has the Ukulele of Insatiable Darkness. He has a Thule Mythican, Critter's Call, Wings of the Honey Maze, and he has taken the Hidden Ones formation. Or no, sorry, that's a unit. He's taken the Hidden Ones, which I'm pretty sure they're like an upgraded version of Thule.
Upgraded
right?
Thule, yes.
Yeah.
Thule that get Pathfinder and Thunderous One.
Because that's what they've been missing. I mean, they hit on 3s, so that's good. But God, glass cannons.
Glass paper towel.
Yeah, cannon is a bit strong.
Okay, glass pistols. There you go. All right, Rashad, you've got Jeff's list, right?
Yes, I do. Let me read it.
Go for it.
All right, Trident Realms. Jeff is bringing 3 hordes of Depth Horrors. One of them is going to have the Mace of Crushing, one of them is going to have the Blade of Slashing, and the other one is going to be naked. He's bringing Naiad Worm Riders, speed 9 now, new meta, with the Blessing of the Gods. He's bringing 2 Krakens, 2 Knuckers, a Depth Horror Eternal with the Banner of the Griffin, 1 Trident King, Hector, Nakushi Worm Rider Commander. That's interesting.
It's interesting until you start playing it and it starts fucking all your corners.
Yeah, because it has 12 drops only. That was my first thought at like 2,300 points. Not very like Jeff, actually, but everything's very, very good. And then the 2 Krakens.
Pretty much everything scores except Hector, right? Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
So this is sort of a weird one. Bear with me, but Gibney's article is Gibney's army is named after tentacles. It's got a whole bunch of stuff that has tentacles, but I feel like Jeff Swan's army, when it gets on the table, is going to feel like being fucked by an octopus. It's just gonna be all over the place. Like
Gibney's is actually Cthulhu based, so
okay,
I think he may have more tentacles in the long run.
It looks
They just
really
won't be as
awesome.
long.
I think he'll have more in the long run, but I think the feeling of fighting this Jeff Swan army is going to be you're just surrounded by fast Gribblies all over the place. Just the Krakens, the Knuckers, the Depth Horror Eternal is going to be kind of getting into gaps. Trident King, Worm Rider Commander, Worm Riders. It's just, I don't know. I have no idea where this army will be turn 3. It could be anywhere.
So they both have 3 Depth Horrors and at least 2 Knuckers.
Yep.
And I think the X factor is where is everything else, and Jeff's is built more around nimble speed, and Gibney's looks more like it's, trying to be kind of rank and flank with a whole bunch of regiments to kind of back up there. So,
except for Jeff's Naiad Worm Riders, I think everything in both armies has ensnare.
Worm Riders? You mean the commander?
No, because Jeff has Naiad Worm Riders.
He does. Yeah, there they are.
And they're the only ones that don't have ensnare. And I think on Gibney's side, everything has ensnare. And nothing is shooting on either side. The envoys, no, they have ensnare too. The Mythic Innocent Snare. Yeah, they're gonna draw. No, because there's very little that can kill each other. Actually,
I mean, most of their stuff hits on 3s, so the ensnare is going to push them to 4s unless there's terrain, right?
That's true.
Yep.
I mean,
So
almost
let me
everything
guess
hits
it.
on 3s.
Let me guess it. It matters the terrain.
Oh, does the dot deployment, is that going to matter?
But sorry, I have to step out for a few minutes. Put me down for Jeff Swan.
Okay,
Put me down for young Gibney, not old Gibney.
young Gibney. Visions of Gibney past. All right. Did anybody else want to jump into picks, or you want to keep talking?
I mean, to me, I think someone else said, Jeff's list is built seems to be built for more for speed, but then when you're hitting everything with ensnare, that doesn't necessarily help. And there's
going in the front, though.
Yeah. There's a lot of volume of attacks with all those Thule. Basically 5 regiments of Thule, 1 buffed up is pretty nice. I love Thule. But I also love Monster Mash, and Jeff's got a lot of stuff he can do with that. And so I'm going to go with Jeff, but I think this is going to be a close one. I don't think it's going to be a big win either way. I think it's going to be actually a pretty tight game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more of a blowout, and I think it's because of those corners we were talking about. You're not going to be able to protect all the corners at all the time against this list with Jeff running. Even with your own counter nimble that he's got. I mean, he's got 3 knuckers to try and fight Jeff's 5 or 6 nimble things with speed 8 and 9. But those Thule, like if they take any sort of charge in the flank, they're dead. They may be able to take a charge in the front, but if they take 2 charges in the front from a combination of almost anything, they're dead too. So I think those Thule are going to go pretty quick down the drain. I don't think Gibney's got the tools to take care of Jeff's list, so I'm going to go with Jeff also. Sorry, young Gibney.
I got faith in the banana. Put me down for Gibney.
All right. Like that. Rashad?
I'm going with Jeff. He wields it so well. What can I say? And it's so good. I'm going to go Jeff.
Okay, up next, we've got table 24. We've got Brad McKay versus Steve Hausnick. Jeff Daniels, do you mind doing Hausnick? Because he's down for Britain, and Britain's not here right now.
Was that a challenge?
What?
Was that a challenge? No, huh?
No, this is not a challenge. When there's 14 challenges, pretty much all the matchups are decided after that.
Oh, okay.
But it'll be a good match. So you're doing Hausnick?
Yeah, what's Hausnick under?
Oh,
there he is.
Yeah, he's there. He's in there.
All right. He is playing something very similar to last year. All right. See if I make him. See if Brad makes him rage quick like I did.
I'm gonna guess yes.
This game is bullshit.
Fuck this shit.
All right. All right. So he's playing undead. 2 troops of wraiths, as you do. 4 troops of mummies because they're painted. Zombies with the banner of the griffin sitting behind the mummies. I mean, oops, that's a secret. Let's see here. Horde of Rights with the brew of sharpness. 1, 2 Lich Kings, both mounted, both with heal, 1 with blessing and 1 with a shroud. So surge 12 on each and heal 6 on each. Well, heal 6 and heal 9. Mortarbrisk to stop all that beautiful shooting. And Horde of Bar Rights.
He had 10 points left that he didn't use.
Because
I mean, do you need to use all your points when you're playing Brad? I mean,
You don't, but you could do something. Like you could give Whip of Celerity to the Barrow Whites.
no, they're living legends.
Oh, they can't take items. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, shit. Yeah. All right.
There's items that could have been put in there though.
Mesa Crushing and the Blade of Slashing on those wraiths.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so here's Brad's list. he's toned it down a little bit. It's not as nasty as his Masters list, although maybe it's just nasty in a different way that plays combat a little bit more. So he has a troop of gargoyles. He's playing Twilight Kin, by the way. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 regiments of Dark Knights. One of them has Caterpillar. One of them has Celerity. God, that's awesome. He still has the 3 dark side chariots. One of them still has Heart Seeking. The other one has Fire Oil. He has 2 Black Lord dragons, Critter's Call, Brew of Haste, Spell Siphon, and Stain Stone. And that is his 2,300 points. I like this a lot.
like it a lot.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's flavorful.
Fucking so many knights. Although I will say, House Nick does have a fairly decent list to maybe try and stand up to it, kind of.
And
I mean, Brad's got to shoot the race, you know. I mean, I'm not saying that Brad's not going to win. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like this list could actually give Brad a little bit of a run if I don't know if he's not rolling right or something, but
he's going to need a lot. I think I like Steven's list. The first year Capital City Clash, I think this is pretty much what he ran, and it does some cool things when it's played well. He's got, you know, he plays it very compact. I mean, surprise, surprise, he plays with Dustin all the time.
But playing compact against Brad's not going to help.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to spread him out.
And this list, all those Night Hordes coming in can pick up a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's if they get a double, because a single charge from the Night Horde's probably not going to pick up one of those.
Yeah.
A double, yeah, they're done.
And so I just think that Brad's still got the shooting. He's got a lot more combat in this list.
Mortibrus neuters that shooting quite a lot.
A little bit. Mortibrus has to be in the right spot to stop.
Well, I mean, if he plays it the way he normally does, Mortibrus will have his whole army for the first turn or two. He puts that whole thing in a box.
Here's the conversation. Dustin is in dojo. Dustin and Steve play all the time. Does Dustin support his group and not help Steve out? Or does he help Steve and mirror this and give him some coaching tips on this list?
He helps Steve. Come on. Dustin's in dojo to avoid getting early round matchups. Love y'all.
I'm still going with Brad. My point is I think House Nick's list can maybe do a little bit of work against it. Maybe Brad doesn't take a full 20. Maybe he takes an 18 type thing.
For me, I do like Steven's list if he plays it well and tight and doesn't get upset after taking a heavy loss to Brad here. He can do well the rest of the game or the rest of the weekend. But
sure, you only have to play Brad once, right?
I think Brad just crushes his dreams.
Dude, I love that knight. Those 4 knights are awesome. So Todd, you're going with Brad also?
Yeah.
Okay. Jeff?
I'm going to go hometown and root for my boy Steve.
Okay.
He's going to redeem himself.
Rashad, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. We just kind of talked all over you.
No, it's all good. I've been listening. I've been looking at the lists. I'm going to go with Brad.
Okay.
Surprise.
Hard not to pick the master, right?
Yeah, he's the reigning U.S. master.
Exactly.
And he has a good
Mark,
list.
I'm also going for worst pick selections all the way down.
Oh, that's what you're doing? Okay. There's no Snotling Hard Luck Award for worst pick, although I am tracking them. Let's jump into table 25. We have John Green versus Richard Rogers. And Todd, you've got John's list, and since Ryan Smith is not here, I will do Richard Rogers.
Sorry, 1 second here.
Sure.
John Green. My computer will catch up with me.
I think he's doing Twilight Kin.
Yeah, he is also bringing Twilight Kin, and it's an interesting list. John has 2 troops of Blade Dancers, 2 regiments of Blade Dancers. One has the Brew of Strength, 2 troops of Gargoyles, 2 regiments of Reapers, horde of Chariots, 2 hordes of Fiends, one with Haste and one with Pathfinder, a mounted Dark Lord, a High Priestess with Bane Chant, a mounted Standard Bearer with the Ukulele of Darkness, and the Night Dancers formation, which will give Stealthy and Mind Thirst to all of those Blade Dancers.
Nifty. All right, here is Richard Rogers' list. He's bringing Abyssal Dwarves. He has a horde of Decimators. They have the Heart-Seeking Chant. He has a regiment of Slave Orcs. He has 2 hordes of the Obsidian Golems. One of them has Blessing of the Gods. The other has the Diadem of Dragonkind. He has a regiment of Gore Riders. They have the Staying Stone. He has a regiment of Abyssal Half-Breeds with the Caterpillar. 2 Dragonfire teams. 1 Half-Breed Champion with Blade of Slashing. Oh, wow, here we go. 2 Iron Casters. Surge 8, Drain Life 6, Banner of the Griffin. Surge 8, Drain Life 6, Mirrodin's Fireheart. He has a Supreme Iron Caster on Ancient Winged Half-Breed. He's given him Lightning 5 and Healing Brew. And he rounds it out with some allies from Forces of the Abyss. A horde of Tortured Souls, taking after Todd's ulterior motives.
Shut up.
Didn't fool him, did you? Huh. I'm gonna need a second. I'm kind of trying to figure out how these 2 are gonna mash up.
Man, John has buckets of attacks.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
shit.
shit tons of attacks everywhere.
He's throwing cups of dice.
Is
He's
the
got a lot of stealthy to
Stealthy
worry less
gonna
about
help?
those decimators.
it's only it's only 1 horde, right?
The horde decimators, two Dragonfire teams.
And the
Those iron
Dragonfires are good.
those iron casters can throw around some. Don't they have fireball?
Fireball.
They got
Yeah,
Fireball.
Fireball
They
6.
both have Drain Life 6, the Iron Casters. So this list has a ton of shooting with the Decimators, and it's very resilient. It's got the Diadem on the Lesser Obsidian Golems on top of it. It's got the Dragonfire team. It's going to throw out. It's going to be able to delete 1 15-17 unit per turn with the amount of shooting that it has.
Provided it focus fires, right?
Which it
Yeah.
can. Yeah. It's pretty rough. You know, Scott Holcomb plays a very similar list to this, except for the Iron Caster when Ancient Half-Breed is he plays the Dragon type.
Have you played Richard? I'm pretty sure he's coming from California.
I know Richard. I think
okay.
I think I met Richard in up north though. Richard was in
Oh.
California. I think he moved up north. Let me look at Facebook. Yeah, we're friends.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Just curious.
I mean, there's so many attacks in that list with John, and John's a very good player. He's got a bit of shooting to help himself also. He's got some Bane Chant to buff up where he needs some extra crush on stuff. Yeah, I've got to go with John on this one. I really, it's a different kind of kin list. I haven't seen one like this, but there's just so many attacks coming from all angles, and I really like that Blade Dancer formation.
And he's got a lot of ability to corkscrew with it.
Yeah.
But that said, him punching through that defense 6 columns is going to be a little difficult.
It'll be a little difficult. It's not going to be impossible, though.
And he can come from so many different angles.
Yeah, he can bring in...
He's going to wind up getting a flank somewhere.
Bring in a unit that's got brutal, and then bring in some of your other stuff that's got more of your crushing. You know, like the fiends.
I would expect this list game to be somewhere around a 12-8, or I'm not sure what your scoring stuff is this year, but it'll be a
It's a 20
close
scale.
win-loss. Okay. Yeah, it'll be a minor loss one way or the other for somebody. There's going to be a lot of attrition. I think I'm going to go with John. I know him better. I know how he plays. I've played him just about every year, and this fits in with his motif. In fact, it's interesting because he's been so reliant on turtles, on those Romans for the last couple years, that this is a really interesting list for him.
I'm going with John also.
Put me down for John.
Richard. Yeah, I don't know Richard, so it's kind of hard for me to say how that list would play. It's a rock, like it's solid, but I think John's going to be able to do a couple of things to sneak in there and cause some havoc on some of those shooting things, and then once that gets shut down, then he can really start to tear it apart. So I'm going to go with John also. Rashad, you done on Facebook yet?
Yeah, no. If it's Anthony Rogers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's Anthony Rogers. I believe he lives in Seattle now.
Okay.
Because I saw him at the tournament up there in Seattle.
Cool.
But yeah, he's originally from Southern California. So I love his list, and I think John's a heavy puncher, as we know. But I like John's list. It's very, very good. It's got a lot of range, but Richard's shooting's coming from a lot of sources. So I think it's going to be very difficult shutting all of that down in one turn. So he'll get a lot of vicious shooting against low defense, and I think it's going to be pretty effective.
Gotcha.
So, John?
Cool.
I'm sorry, Richard.
yeah, sorry. Who I thought you were talking about. I had already marked it down. Let's see. So table 26, we've got another challenge. We've got Jody Stubblefield versus Mr. Magoo. Let's see. I will do Jody's list. Rashad, can you grab Ryan's list? Sorry, Magoo's list.
Drunkest table round one.
Ooh.
Over Ryan and Brian?
Over Ryan and Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. The real challenge will be, does Jody drink a Four Loko or not?
You can guilt Jody into doing a lot of stuff.
I don't know that you can get him to do that, though. We'll see how many teenage girls are in the room, and then maybe he'll change his mind.
I'd say put on a bikini, Mark. It'll look the same.
Yeah, right. I'll look like a prepubescent girl in a bikini. So here's Jody's list. He has a legion of bloodworms. He has a horde of needle fangs. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hordes of butchers. Blessing of the Gods, Brew of Haste, Chant of Hate, and Brew of Strength. He has a regiment of nightmares, a single Shadow Hulk, 1, 2, 3 horrors. One has Bane Chant and the Fireheart. One has Weakness, and the other has Mind Fog. And he's taken the Butcher Block formation. Holy Jesus. That is a butcher list.
Yeah.
I like it.
I love it.
Oh, my God.
I love Jody to death, but he brings some not great lists. This is the nastiest thing
Is he theming it this year?
What's up?
Last year was the Ombre list. Is he theming this one?
I don't know. You mean, yeah, the Harambe list? Yeah, I don't know.
He's a good hobby guy. I'm sure he's got something going with it.
You know what? Yeah, he told me he's doing like a D&D theme. So it's going to look like a D&D board.
Nice.
Where it's going to be like laid out on hex grid, and I don't know that I can explain it, but you'll see it. It'll look cool.
Well, you're failing miserably, so.
Well, I'm not trying that hard, so read the fucking list.
All right. Rashad, you got Magoo's?
I do have Magoo's list. So he's running 2 regiments of Reaper Guard. Twilight Kin, I should say. And the list is called 2300 Hydras, 2 regiments of Reaper Guard, 2 troops of Gargoyles. So far, everything is naked. Lower Abyssals, a horde with the banner of the Griffin. 2 regiments of Reapers.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very hitty unit if you don't know it. 2 hordes of Abyssal Riders, one with the Whip of Celerity and one with the Healing Brew. 2 Hydras. We didn't see that coming. High Priestess of the Abyss with Bane Chant mounted on a horse and with the Inspiring Talisman. Another High Priestess of the Abyss, also mounted with Bane Chant. Now, this time I did it right. Army Standard Bearer mounted on a horse, and another Army Standard Bearer also mounted on a horse, both naked. And Gemini formation, which I don't know what that is.
That's where the Hydras get to share wounds.
Yeah.
Okay, so formation must contain 2 Hydras. Each Hydra in this formation has an additional number of attacks equal to damage on the other Hydra in this formation. This is in addition to bonus attacks from a multiple heads rule.
The problem is you really want those Hydras to be getting shot at, and there's no shooting here to give them attacks early.
Yeah, those butchers are gonna tear those Hydras up.
Those listening in can take a drink for the awkward silence.
Yeah. So here's your thing. You got Jody, who doesn't really care. You got Magoo, who's going to be there purely to drink and to chase women.
It's true.
Nothing you've said is wrong yet.
And so your tactical choice on the table is not going to be the best at this tournament. I play with Ryan fairly regularly. He knows how to play the list. The Army Standard Bearers are chaff. They're going to get in the way of things. But honestly, Jody's list doesn't give a rat's ass about chaff.
It does not.
And in fact, Jody's butchers are just all of his crush 1 here, and almost all of it other than the Hydras is crush 1. The butchers are going to slough off to a certain extent. Yeah, I think I got to go with Jody here. Hell, those bloodworms are going to be removing units.
Yeah. Is it?
I'd love to see the Alohi on that last horde unit of butchers.
Oh, the Aegis.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to free up points somewhere though to do it.
Must be a whole lot cooler with more Shadow Hulks. But that's me.
I don't know. It's got 6 fucking butchers. What else do you want?
Yeah,
3 Shadow Hulks.
I'm gonna have to go with Jody here. I mean, that weakness I think can come into play because there's not a lot of crushing.
No.
In that kit list, and then when you can throw a little bit of weakness to what little's out there. I think there's a little bit he can do with some Wind Blast if he's smart with that and keeping stuff away or pushing stuff to where he can then surge into a flank. I mean, it's Jody. Will he see those kinds of moves? I don't know, but I really like this list he has, and so yeah, give me Jody.
Cool. I'm going Jody on this one also.
This will be a fun table.
Yeah, this will be a fun table.
Congrats to both, first of all, for this matchup. You guys both got very lucky.
Well, it's a challenge.
Oh, it's a challenge?
Yeah, they challenge each other.
Even better. Okay, this is a fun table to watch. They're both awesome dudes.
Yeah, somebody else tried to challenge Jody, and Magoo threw his challenge out, and Jody was like, well, I'll go with the better challenge.
Ryan, you're the better man. I love Jody's 5 butcher horde list. That's awesome. Just thematically, and then probably going to look very cool too. And I love Magoo. Man, we listened to so much music and got so drunk that night at Lonewolf. Never forget that. I wish I could be there with you guys to witness this game. I'm going to give it to Magoo.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bucking the system a little bit.
yeah, because I think Jody's got a lot of crushing, which is very effective. But then again, it's also like it's going against a lot of stuff that's got a lot of attacks and it's got movement. So I
Yep.
think Ryan might be able to pick him apart.
All right, let's go to table 27. We've got Andrew Dursum versus Dylan Murray. And Brenton, I don't believe, is back. So
I can read that.
Holy shit.
What? You guys
I'm looking
already-
at this matchup. This matchup is awesome.
I'll take the read there.
Which one are you going to take?
I'll take Andrew.
Okay.
So Andrew is running Romans. He has a
Holy shit.
let's see, a horde of heavy warriors who drop their shields for crushing strength, iron resolve, fulcron, and skiltrum. I'm not familiar with that rule.
We'll get to it at the bottom.
Another horde of the heavy warriors, with the crushing strength, iron resolve, and fulcron. A third horde with crushing strength, iron resolve, and fulcron, and a fourth horde with crushing strength and fulcron, but no iron resolve. I'm guessing because he ran out of points. He's got a musician to give out that sweet rally too.
The Shilt Storm,
yeah,
is phalanx.
Okay, so one of them will have phalanx.
Yep.
The musician to give out that rally too. That's so nice. He has two hordes of the peltists, and one of them has claymores to get crushing for them.
Yep.
He has a regiment of the Praetorian Cav, an Eagle Bearer, because why not have another source of rally 2 out there? He's got a huge winged beast, which is basically your dragon, with defense 6.
Defense
That's
5.
still legal.
Oh, it's got the toughened ornate armor. Oh.
Yeah, it's still legal.
And 2 evil sorcerers who have Bane Chant 2.
Yep, it's a hero monster. It can take that. Wow, that's gonna be an interesting pickup. Okay.
I was originally looking at some vampires at defense.
Yeah, the vampires are all D6
that.
in that still. I probably want to fix those because I knew the vampires are D6. All right, so we've got salamanders. This is Dylan Murray. He has 2 regiments of ancients, 1, 2, 3 troops of corsairs. There is a horde of tyrants, and they have the blade of slashing. We have Gakota Sky Raiders in a horde with the Jar of the 4 Winds, like you do. 2 hordes of ancient rhinosaurs. One of them has Caterpillar. He has a clan lord mounted on a Kaizenor Raptor, and he's given him Banner of the Griffin. He has a mage priest with Martyr's Prayer 7. He has a battle captain with Wings of the Honey Maze. He has Firebrand. And then he's got 2 formations. He's got Crew of the Embers Dance and Inspiration of the Ancients. And I don't know what either one of those things do, so I'll read it. The Embers Dance is 3 Corsairs and 1 Firebrand. Each unit in this formation is granted the Elite Special rule, as well as +1 to hit with ranged attacks.
And
in addition to increasing their route value by 1. That is pretty fucking solid.
It's pretty solid.
it's
For-
retarded.
For how many points is it? 30?
It's about 400 points.
No, I'm saying it's
Firebrand also makes them all fearless.
Fearless.
So they're fearless 13s.
where does it say fearless? Oh, the
Yeah,
Firebrand
the
themselves.
Firebrand
Oh, the
rule.
character. Gotcha.
Yep.
Holy
It's
shit.
got synergies on synergies.
Yeah, no shit.
What
And then
list are we on, by the way?
We're on Dylan Murray and
Andrew Durson.
Andrew Dursum.
Cool.
This is table. What were we saying?
27.
Table 27. Yep.
Cool.
So the ancient formation is 2 ancient regiments and a clan lord. Each unit of ancients in this formation is granted the inspiring special rule. The clan lord in this formation is now fearless and also has rallying 1.
Yeah, and with a banner, so that's a rally 2 clan lord.
That is crazy.
So most likely that clan lord on a mount is running with those rhinosaurs. So you have 2 hordes of -20 rhinosaurs.
Or you can space them out and keep them near the the Corsairs. Like, there's so much stuff you can do with all that.
Yeah.
-15 Corsairs. Sure. I'll take it.
Yet that's not going to happen. So you can see why I laughed at this list. I ran a lizard list very similar to this. It's very effective. The only difference I had is I think I ran 1 unit of rhinosaurs, but I had Abigail the Wonder Slut in there for the that sweet Pierce 4
Shooting.
shooting.
Yeah.
Oh.
So now is that going to
Yeah.
matter against all this Vulcan?
So yeah, I was just gonna say that the Vulcan's crazy.
Oh,
right?
oh, Britain's back in time. Britain, make sure you look at that Romans list. It's going to make you really happy.
So this
I
is
haven't
really
looked at it.
That
I haven't
Romans
looked
list
at
is-
it yet.
Oh, you got to pull it up, man. We'll
So
just
my
wait.
guess is,
We're just
without
gonna
seeing it, my guess is that it is well researched, historically accurate.
Oh, yeah.
Troop types that existed.
Romans have dragons, don't they?
Look, so I have something to say about that from Jesse Cornwell. He asked why I didn't have a problem with the angels, like the flying angels in the list. I can find more first-hand accounts or period accounts of divine intervention than I can of Romans dropping their shields and fighting with two-handed weapons. There's more texts that say angels descended on the field or God helped us or whatever, like mythical creatures fighting, than there are of the tactics that are actually being used in this list. So,
Did the
anyways,
angels exchange their shields for two-hand weapons also?
I don't know. We'll have to ask someone with better Latin skills than me. Yeah, so this is the same thing. Hashtag disappointed.
Yeah, they've got
but he's got
sorcerers, too.
but he's got Thracian Peltis.
Yes,
That's
he does.
fun. And they have claymores. I'm good with that. They use two-handed weapons. That's good. Oh god, getting caught up. Salamanders have a bunch of scary stuff.
I really wish this Roman list had at least 1 Phoenix in it
Yeah,
for heal.
you get the heal camp.
Because what's going to happen is Dylan's going to nickel and dime. If he's able to focus fire, he can still grind down those defense 6 hordes over time.
Yeah, but I mean, there's Iron Resolve
25.
on some of those things, and
20,
Yeah.
23-25, defense 6 to the front. Now, the important thing is Fulcan's just to the front, right?
Yes.
So
the Sky Raiders are going to be able to do work, but that Dragon's going to keep them Sky Raiders in check.
mhm.
is it just the front?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Not that it matters, but cool.
Yeah, I mean these lists are usually like you only see the front.
Yeah, true.
Is my thought. That could just be me misremembering. I don't see it listed in the rules on the printout.
Yeah, I don't either. I'll have to go back and look at my historicals book.
I'll have to find my historicals book.
I know where mine is, but it's down fucking stairs, and I'm not going to go get it right now.
But anyways, yeah, this is a good salamander list, right?
Yes, it is.
It's a really interesting matchup on both list on list, though. I think
It's hard to call. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my initial thought is like, oh, those Romans won't give a shit about all this shooting. And then you're like, oh, 2 hordes of rhinosaurs. And what do rhinosaurs like? Big blocks of troops that can't get out of the way.
Yep.
You know, but then he has 2 hordes of skirmishers. That's a horde with 25 attacks that operates as an individual. It gives no
Yes.
it can be I mean, I guess they're deep enough that it's going to be really hard to go through them into another unit, but you could. I don't know. I like this Roman list. This looks fun. Yeah, I wish it had 1 to 2 Phoenix.
Does anybody know how often Dylan plays or know him?
Yeah, I don't know either guy.
Dylan was just at BCB.
Andrew-
they're playing a fair amount. I don't know how
Andrew
often.
plays out of Houston.
How often has he played?
Not much.
Okay,
I think he's going over to play some games with Robbie this weekend.
gotcha. Good.
Crash course.
I mean, I like. If I would rather run Dylan's list if I had to run one of these in the
For the
event.
entire event?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Ooh, I don't know about that.
I'm leaning that way too. I'd rather run the Romans.
the Romans list just isn't my style.
I'm just looking at the synergy.
That Romans list is a foot
Yeah,
foot
I'd
slog
rather
of
run
fuck
that.
you.
Although, I mean, that lizard list is really fucking good too.
The lizard
fun.
list has so many
I've
tools.
played it.
I
It's
love
fun.
a good tool bitbox list like this. I love this lizard list. There's a lot of I don't give a fuck in that Roman list, though. I'm gonna give a slight edge to the Romans. I'll go with Andrew.
Okay.
Fulkin is 360. By the way, guys, I
All
grabbed
right.
Oh, is
I
it?
grabbed my book. I
Oh.
was wrong, and that makes sense for like how the Romans are using it. It's supposed to be their testudo or whatever, so they're covered from all sides. I thought it was like a big shield. I was wrong. Yeah, I missed what Todd said, but it started to sound like he was saying he wanted the salamander list for the whole tournament.
I would rather play the salamander list, but in this matchup, I'm going to give a slight edge to the Romans. I think they match up a little better here.
I'm going Romans here too, but it would not shock me if the Salamanders win. I mean,
Agreed.
it's like a coin flip matchup. It's hard to call.
I'll be honest. I don't think it's. Go ahead, Rashad.
Oh, thanks. I was going to say that we haven't spoken much about the Ancients in the Salamanders list because those are really good too, especially with that formation inspiring everybody. Those -17 blocks, but the synergies in the Roman list are incredible because everything can move, March move 10. Even though it's a slow army, he can be in your face really quick, and he's got that Fulcon all across. He can even block units with it if he wants to. And then he has, I always think the historical lists, they have an advantage when they incorporate exactly. You know, evil sorcerers with Bane Chant on those units are going to be so, they're so effective.
Yep.
So I will give it also to the Romans. I think it's a really good synergy list.
I'm going to say I do really like. I almost submitted that list very similar to this lizard list. I like it. It is really solid. But it's having faced a Roman list playing John Green, very similar to that with a shooting lizard list. It's not going to go great. There's just not enough can opener there. And that defense 6 dragon is going to wreck face.
Oh, you're going with the Romans.
Go with Andrew.
Wow.
Yep.
We're gonna go for sure with the lizards.
I just noticed he took the defense 6 dragon.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. That's rough.
Yeah, somebody called that out earlier.
You didn't fact that out, Mark. You didn't make him use cock rules.
You can only do it to one thing. Cock doesn't affect that. It doesn't touch historicals.
I know it doesn't touch historicals.
Okay,
I'm saying maybe it should.
God damn it! I should be running historicals.
Because they still get what, defense 6 vampires essentially, and can make
now,
defense 6 dragons.
If you stacked a whole bunch of vampires and defense 6 individuals and shit, I would have tapped the brakes on that. But one dragon ain't gonna hurt it. Yeah,
we're in that 6 dragon meta, so
yeah, true.
It's not gonna count. No, I like the Roman list. It gives me a little bit of chest pain to call it. I like Andrew Dursum's list. How about that?
So that is how many tables? Is that 9 tables we've done, and that's the first landslide? Is that
That's
right?
good.
Geez, that dragon even has breath attack 15 on top of everything. That's
yeah.
Yep.
Took us 9 tables to go.
With 10 attacks.
Yeah,
he's got 10 attacks.
This is cheese, my friends, and I know cheese.
You know what's funny? I bet if we had started this cast and said, "Oh, salamanders versus historicals, who would you have?" Probably most people would have picked salamanders, right? Like maybe,
Ah,
maybe not.
it's that historical mythical synergy that's so
Yeah.
rough. Good.
Yeah, but you never know
Well,
what somebody's going to pick.
that 25 nerve trying to chew through those
It's gonna be a
cords is
bitch.
just
Right. Granted, it's not a -28 zombie legion. You know, they don't have access to that. They have to like put synergies together. But he's got a little bit of everything. It's really good.
Yep. All right, let's go into table 28. We have a challenge between Mike Piercy and Rob Fanoof. Rob is not sure he's going to make it, so I don't think he's turned in a list yet. So we can just read Michael Piercy's list and then talk about how bad Mike was going to punk Rob anyway. And then we'll figure out who Mike is going to end up playing on Saturday, if I don't find out sooner.
That sounds like a plan.
Cool.
Put me down for Rob, please. I'm gonna go use the restroom.
Go for it.
Wow. Put
Somebody's
me
gotta
down.
vote for Rob. I mean,
Put me down for Rob. Now I need to take a dump.
You just took one. I guess I've got Mike's list. So yeah, reading Mike's list, he's playing Ratkin. He has 2 regiments of the Tunnel Slaves. He has a regiment of shock troops with the Blade of Slashing. He has a horde of Blight with the Crystal Pendant. I actually love that there because you have to go in hard to get those Blight. And yeah.
You don't have to go too hard. Just takes a breath weapon.
Yeah. 3 troops of Scurriers. One of them is going to exchange for crossbows and get piercing. He's got 2 hordes of Nightmares.
Okay. Let's see what he's doing now.
He's got a Death Engine with Vile Sorcery. He's got a Blight Lord with Banechant and Alchemist Curse. He has an Enforcer mounted with Inspiring. The Assassin with Wings of Honey Maze.
Love that.
Demon Spawn flying. And the Dust Crawlers formation, which the Dust Crawlers formation means that all of those Scurriers and the Assassin get Vanguard and Stealthy. And the Assassin also inspires the Scurriers and gets Ensnare. It's a pretty good list. It's his new version of what he ran at Capital City last year, kind of the Cock 19 version. And he did really well with it there. Those Scurriers, he actually makes those work. I never gave them much respect. I still wouldn't take them myself, but he makes them work. That having a vanguarding flying assassin who ensnares now is nice. It's a sneaky shooty rat list, and he does pretty well with it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a really non-conventional rat list, but
and that's what Mike loves to do with everything. Is he likes to take things that people don't respect or think can't do well and prove them wrong.
Yeah, I think he's going to do well in this event also, just with how much stuff he's spreading out and what he's going to be able to do. He probably would have just totally danced around Rob and murdered the shit out of him.
So those nightmares.
There's sort of lists that you look at and you say, I know how this works. It pushes forward and it kills things. And sure, there's like nuance and skill in it somewhere, but this one feels like a really high skill cap army. Like if you hand this to a new player, they would just get run over, but you hand it to a good player like he is, that he has a lot of tools and a lot of trickery and a lot of just stuff. But then there's this really solid center with the blight that will blow up and the nightmares. It just feels like the opponent's going to get stuck in this area where they don't really want to charge because of the counter.
Yeah,
but they're getting picked apart by everything at the same time. Like there's this zone of death around the front of his army that's going to be really tricky. Yeah, it seems like a really fun army. We don't know what Rob's playing, but not to be mean or anything, but I think Rob didn't want to see a really tricky high skill matchup, like something a little dumber that would have relied on dice would have been more up his speed. And this just feels like he's going to be chasing shadows.
I will say I don't think Michael's going to be super happy with the crystal pendant on that blight unit over the course of the tournament, because that unit operates a lot like the trident snares. And I used to try the crystal pendant thinking that multiple units were going to have to charge it to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And honestly, they either stuck for a long period of time or they got shot off the table. And in both cases, the pendant didn't do anything. 50 points wasted.
I think.
Sorry.
There is a psychology aspect to it, but
for me, it's just this whole army sort of has a clock on it. Like you need to engage with certain things, or you're getting kind of picked out and chewed up a little by what it has. And when you have a clock on you, when you have to get into combat and start killing things, having the hard to hit horde. For me, it forces like a choice. Either you send something in and grind against it for a while, which he's probably fine with because he's doing all this stuff on the rest of the board, and then the pendant doesn't work, or you charge with everything to take care of it quickly and move on, and then the pendant is doing its work. So,
yeah, but you just breath attack them. I mean, that's their biggest downfall is that fucking breath attack. Just 2 or 3 turns of that, and they're gone.
But Rob does play. Our last couple times, I think I've seen Rob playing ogres.
He's had boomers.
He did with that Shiloh. Yeah, so he's got the boomers.
Yeah, I just think that if he's standing across from people and they're breath attacking, I don't know if he's okay with that, but he's kind of like, okay, I have all these other things doing all this other stuff, and I'm also breath attacking back and shooting, and might take that trade. I don't know. It's theoretical against all of the lists in the world Rob could be bringing. So.
Well, especially because with the Enchant 3, he can fairly reliably enchant those nightmares for their to give them Pierce 1 on their breath attacks. Which is
and at the end of all of that breathing and assassinating and scurrying and whatever, he's still got that cheeky little alchemist curse 10.
Yeah.
To take care of anything that light shooting doesn't want to deal with. So.
Yep.
Cool. I guess we're all going with Mike, right? Except for Rashawn, who's picking Rob for some reason, even though we don't know that Rob's is actually going to be there. So, solid choice.
Can't lose if you don't play.
Well, you can lose if you bet on the person that doesn't show up to win.
But, Rob, you should have put in a list, man. At least we could have known what you have.
Well, I don't know that he's coming. He's starting a new job like this week or next week, so he'll figure it out, and then he'll let us know. We've got Table 29. This is another challenge, and this has been like 2 years in the making because they keep challenging each other, and then one of them keeps dropping. We've got Jordan Lawrence versus Robbie King, and I will do Jordan's list. Is Rashad done taking a dump? No?
I'm done taking a dump.
Okay. You've got Robbie's. So here's what Jordan is bringing. He's bringing salamanders. A lot of those this year. He's got a horde of primes. He has 2 regiments of ancients. He has a regiment of the ceremonial guard. He has Gekata warriors in a horde with hammer of measured force, which is a fantastic fucking unit.
For the price, yeah.
Right. He has a horde of sky raiders. They have the Jar of the 4 Winds, because that's the auto include for them. He has a horde of ancient rhinosaurs. They have Brew of Haste. He has a Commodon. Fuck you. He has a Anklodon battle platform with blowpipes, or swapping blowpipes for Firebolt. He has a Clan Lord with Wings of the Honey Maze. He has a Mage Priest with Weakness, Martyr's Prayer, and the Fireheart. He has a Battle Captain on Rhinosaur with Blade of Slashing. And he took the inspiration of the Ancients formation also. Pretty solid little list. Rashad, what's Robbie bringing?
All right, I'm going to read former U.S. Paragon Robbie King's list.
Very former.
Yeah, super
Very former, yeah. It's pretty versatile. It's got
Until you know Robbie.
It's got 7 hordes. I can't wait to see it. Knowing it's a better, I can't wait to see it. 7 hordes of Lycans in it. He's running Herd, obviously. 1 beast pack to screen all of them at once. He's got 2 shamans both with heal, both mounted. 1 with Aura of the Heroism. Aura of the Heroism sounds like Borat. Aura of Heroism, and the other one with the Shroud of the Saint. So one's gonna have, that's pretty good. One's gonna have heal 8, so heal 13 total, and the other one's gonna be able to put Heroism on things, and then 1 Lycan Alpha. And there's no formation, right? I don't see formation.
Nope. No formation.
Yeah, because it's all hordes. Oof.
This is Robbie's no fucks given list. It's amazingly painted. He'll win sports, but he plays this thing like dog shit. To do well with this list, and we've seen it before, this is a Ferrari, and you've got to be able to drive it. And it takes patience.
You're saying
Robbie's not. He's not known to have patience.
No, he's not. You know, I think arguably this is probably going to be one of the better painted tables, if not the best painted table on the field for first round.
Probably, likely.
Yeah.
I was thinking someone just did the sale at like Miniature Market and got all the old Rackham pre-paints.
Mm-hmm.
But these are actually, he legitimately has an army of painted that many Lycans kicking around as a horde. Like,
that's what I'm assuming. I don't know.
Has
Jeff,
someone seen?
You played with
has
him.
someone seen this army?
Oh shit! Actually, I think this is the wrong list. Robbie was going to play Rick's Lego Varangur. Did he not send a list in for it?
This is the list I got. I can look again.
All right.
He's been telling
So
people.
Robbie doesn't.
I can pull the list up. I have it in our Titans chat. He's been telling people he was going to play Rick's Legos.
Robbie's saying, yeah, he's bringing Legos.
Okay. Fuck, let me see if I can find the list real quick.
You wanted to see these Lycans.
Inbox.
My
Yeah,
only
the
question about this Varangur list is, do they fit on one page?
Okay. Here, I've got the Varangur list he wants to bring.
Because what I loved about this herd list is it fits on one page at 2,300 points, which is amazing.
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
only have
be-
the Lycan list, so unless he sends me that list really soon,
He said he's about to text you.
he can. Texting me ain't shit. If you didn't email it to me, it's not a fucking list.
So here's the list.
Fucking dumbass.
It's a Varangur list. It's 2 regiments of Sons of Korgan not mounted, both with Life Leech. A Horde of Fallen with the Whip of Celerity. 2 troops of Horse Raiders. 1 with bows. A Horde of Direfangs with Life Leech and Brew of Haste. A Devourer with Breath. A Chieftain on Direfang with Life Leech and Banner of the Griffin. And 2 Kings on Chimera with Life Leech.
I'm going with Jordan. Because Jordan actually sent a list. And Jordan's probably going to win anyway, but I mean... Then again, every time
Jordan will win anyway.
He fucking loses, so... I don't know.
He's got this is a very 2016 list for Lizards.
Well, that's like when the fucking...
Yes, I know exactly. I don't know. I think it'll be an interesting one to see how he does with it over the course of the tournament. I'm not super crazy about it with the current meta.
Is it
Robbie-
going to be good against Varangor and or werewolves?
If it's Rick's Lego list, I didn't listen to what Todd was saying, but that Lego list that Rick was running was pretty stout.
Was it really?
Double Chimera, I believe, with a bunch with
double Chimera,
Fallen.
double Suns. It's only one Fallen.
The Suns is good.
Yeah, it was a
Suns,
solid
but they still
list.
hit. I can't wait to see Jordan's whole army put together. If you guys haven't seen the stuff he's been posting some of the pics of, it's going to be another fucking gorgeous army. But I don't love this list at all. I'm with Jeff. I don't like it. And there is a lot of
I just don't like it.
There's a lot of punch in that Varangur, and there's I think it's got enough to get through. And Robbie, yeah, he doesn't care a whole lot more at times, like was being said, but he can get drunk and push Varangur forward and act like he's not paying attention, but he's going to pull off some sneaky shit with it still. Yeah, I'll take Robbie here.
Okay. Rashad, Brenton.
Britton, I'm gonna let you go first.
So I'll admit I'm really bad at hearing a list get read out. Like I kind of need to see it and catch up on it because I'm not that bright. So I don't remember anything that was in Robbie's list. You just said 2 chimeras again.
It's just a fuck ton of Varinger.
I was still looking at the like werewolves. Now I'm hearing it's Legos. And like Jordan, I don't know. I've seen this stuff pop up on the Fanatics, I think it is, or Countercharge, or somewhere on Facebook, and it all looks gorgeous. And it looks like he has a really cool, like, converted and good army. I remember the Clan Lord with the wings looked really awesome. And it's going to be on a table against Legos, and that just makes my heart hurt. So I'm going with the Salamanders because I don't remember what's in the Varangur list, and it's probably toys. So, yeah, let's do Salamanders.
Okay. Oh, and I rescind my best painted table comment also.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Toys.
This is tough for me because it's my teammate versus my soulmate, so it's very difficult. I have the same problem, Britton, as I didn't hear Robbie's list fully. It's very difficult for me too to hear it when somebody's reading it. I kind of want to see it, but I got some parts of it, and I know Robbie is a very, very good player. But since I don't know all of it, I'm going to go with Jordan on this one.
Okay.
I think it's a solid list.
Alrighty. So
It's cool. He's just going to individually text each of us a different army.
Everybody gets
I thought
one
he was
unit.
pulling some Todd level fucking conspiracy shit, feeding you guys the wrong list the whole time, and like, nope, I'm playing Lycans.
If he just sends out like 6 lists and then picks the one he thinks is going to do best on the day.
The real question of this table is how high is Robbie's bar tap going to be by turn 3? That's the question.
That's a good question.
By turn 3,
Yeah.
I don't know if
140.
the bar is going to be open at that point.
No, the bar won't be open.
Yeah, the
Zero.
bar opens at like 11.
Okay. Well,
Which is bullshit.
my over-under was going to be the number of points left on the table, but now that can't go. So,
alrighty, let's go to table 30. And this is a last-second drop that I just got 3 hours ago or so. Jeff Radigan is no longer able to play since NASA is making them get prepped for whatever project that they're doing. Something about going to the moon again. Yeah, space
priorities, man.
So he's got to be back in town for that. So he's not going to be able to do the tournament. So that was going to be Eric Winter's opponent, but we're not sure that he's going to be there because Jeff's dropping. So Eric currently doesn't have an opponent. He may end up playing Mike Piercy if everything else kind of falls out, but we don't really know yet. So we'll kind of get into that as we get into later. So I left it open. So we'll just do Eric Winter's list, and then we'll go on to the next tables. So who's got Eric's? Oh, I've got Eric's. How convenient. Eric Winters is bringing dwarves. He has a horde of bulwarkers. He has 2 regiments of ironclad. He has 2 hordes of earth elementals, one with the skull pole and one with pipes of terror. He has 2 regiments of Brock riders, one with hammer of measured force, the other with brew of strength. He has 1, 2, 3 organ guns. He has an army standard bearer with a ukulele of insatiable darkness. He has a fuck off, Robbie. He has a Berserker Lord mounted on Brock with Blade of the Beast Slayer. He has a king with the wings of the Honey Maze, which they all seem to come with. He has a Stone Priest, Bane Chant 2, Martyr's Prayer 7. He took the Wall of Iron formation, and he also has a Flame Priest, which I think is pretty cool. Gave that little dude Bane Chant, Guiding Light, and Inspiring Talisman. And that is Eric's list. Pretty solid little dwarf list.
It's pretty solid. He's been doing really, really well with it here locally. If I can just say, fuck organ guns and guiding light.
Oh, yeah.
Triple organ gun and guiding light is just a world of fucking hurt.
God.
I will say, if he matches up with Piercy, that becomes a really interesting table.
Well, I'd like to avoid him and Piercy playing because they're in the same city. So if I get the opportunity, I'm probably going to have them split dropped opponents as opposed to playing each other. But you're right.
Because your next set is dropped.
What?
George is dropped, so your next one's open as well.
Yeah, well, Andrew Heinrich never sent anything in and hasn't paid, so odds are he's dropping also. So table 31, we can completely ignore.
Fair
Just
enough.
funny because George has been training like Rocky lately.
Yeah, why the fuck is he dropping? He never answered me.
He's got a bunch of shit going on.
Oh, that's stupid. Okay, well, suck. So yeah, what I did was when I was doing the matchups, obviously all the challenges went together, and then all the people that didn't really give me a good indication of that if they were coming or not, like no list, no pay type thing, I put them in a challenge with themselves so that if they dropped, it was a single table dropping, not me having to crisscross 8 different players.
That's some hot tips for organizing a big tournament right there. That's some good insight.
Kind of keep things like that in your back pocket, man. I can do you all sorts of tricks on War Score now.
Like, that's a good one. Like, both of these people are flaky as fuck. You're gonna play first round.
Yep, I'm gonna match these up. And there's another one like that coming up too. What's up?
No, just I know there's not a matchup to talk about, but I just go back to Eric's list. It's a strong list. I'm excited to have him come out and experience Lone Wolf. He's a guy who just has been a very active player, a really excited guy who picked up the game a couple years here locally. But he hasn't attended an event outside of Capital City.
I was going to say I saw him at Capital. Yeah,
he's done Capital, but this is his first time. I'm pretty sure this is his first time actually going to an event, and so he's excited. I'm excited to have him come out. He's wanted to test himself in a bigger stage, and I think it's a list that will do well over the weekend.
It is. It looks like a really solid list. The Guiding Light organ gun thing stood out immediately. I really liked the Pipes of Terror that he had on the Earth Elementals and the Skull Pole to get that extra
guaranteed wound.
That extra little pop on there with the rolls. I like that. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really, really solid list.
Especially for grinding.
It's very close to sort of when I was playing dwarves, what I played at that time with a couple additions that didn't exist then. It's going to have the normal sort of dwarf problems with sort of maneuverability and being able to. It's a really solid front line. You have that really solid bulwarkers, and then the earth elementals of defense 6 to the front across the board, and hard to crack, and then you have a couple ironclad regiments that are sort of just filler. It's not putting out a ton of damage from those sources. Like, it can do okay, but it's the bulwarkers don't have the brew of strength or the hammer. That went to the Brock riders instead, which is it's not a bad choice. I'm not criticizing.
I
It's
think
just
it's a solid choice.
it's a choice. Like it's what we do as generals, it's what we do as list builders. This is a pretty stock dwarf list, and it's those very small sort of changes. The triple organ gun hasn't been as popular recently. I love it, and with guiding light, it's just dirty for that turn that needs to go off. Yeah, it's a really solid little list. I think it can do a lot. There's going to be some scenarios that are really, really hard for it. But there's also going to be some scenarios where it loves, like dominate, where it can, get those organ guns looking at the spot everyone needs to go to and just fire all day. Yeah, it looks like
if you're doing that one with I was about to say, if he's doing that one with the middle of the table, the bullseye, triple organ gun.
Yeah,
Fuck you in your center.
I mean, I've always never loved the sort of ironclad regiments, but at 110 points, 14, 16 nerve with defense 5, like it's something that can it can do a little. Speed 4 means like even just grabbing objectives, they'll be running to that objective.
Well, he's got Marty's Prayer too to pick up a little more if he needs to,
Yeah, and those things are hard to get to when you have they're on foot and they're hiding behind you've got your Earth Elementals and your Berserker Brocs to just kind of hide behind. It's a cool list.
Well, honestly, for 110 points, they're not bad because they're not going to get popped typically in a single charge by a single unit. They're going to hold up at least one round for the most part. And frequently, if you got flankers or surgers or something like that, that's all it needs to do, and they've earned their points.
Yeah, that's always what I thought. And then I would get them on the board, and they were just kind of it was like the front of them was one thing, but on the back of the unit was a bunch of middle fingers at me when I tried to do anything with them. And that might be on my own fault for expecting anything other than a speed bump. But no, it's a good, solid list. I hope he has a good time with it. We have nothing to match it against, but I'd pick it against a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's solid against the field too. I agree. Let's jump to table 32. Again, table 31 is more than likely drops. So we'll go to 32. We have Andrew Craig versus Kyle Timberlake. And I have Andrew's list up, so I'm going to read it. This is Bear Force 1. This is a dwarf list. He has 2 hordes of bulwarkers. One of them has Griffin. The other has Aegis of the Alohi. He has 2.
Like that.
Right? It's solid. He has 2 regiments of Ironclad. Both of them have the Throwing Mastiff. He has a regiment of Iron Watch rifles. There's something you don't see every day. He has 2 regiments of Shield Breakers. He has a regiment of Brock Riders with Caterpillar. 2 organ guns. Berserker Lord. Who wants to guess what he's got? Yeah, Brock with Blade of the Beast Slayer. He's got a king with, wait for it, Wings of the Honey Maze. He's got a Warsmith. He's got a Greater Earth Elemental. He has the Wall of Iron, and he has a Flame Priest. Bane Chant 2, Drain Life 6. Did not have Guiding Light, so this may be an opportunity there, but not a bad list. And he's got Timberlake. I think that's you, Rashad.
I do have Timberlake. I wanted to add that Wall of Iron is it gives the Ironclad regiments, the Bulwarker Horde, and the King Iron Resolve, for those who don't know, which is really, really good.
Yeah.
I want to read Kyle, my taller brother from another mother. 2,300 points. 2,300 points, Basilian. Right, so he's running Men-at-Arms, Sword, 2 troops, naked. 3 regiments of Paladin Foot Guard, 2 hordes of Elohi, naked, a Dictator with the Banner of the Griffin, 1 Urlohi with the Blade of Slashing, 3 War Wizards. All 3 of them have, each one of them has Drain Life 6, and that's it. 2 Phoenixes, the Forlorn Guard, which is basically like a Paladin Foot Guard, but a little bit better. I think they have Crushing 1. That's the difference, yeah. And then he has the Formation Retribution of the Heavens, which gives Vicious to the Elohi. Very similar to the list that he's been running for a long time, and it's a very, very good list. That Drain Life 18 catches a lot of people off guard and works wonders with the Paladin Foot Guard. It's a very good list.
You got the Aloha.
But that said, I mean, he's really only rocking a center of those 3 regiments of foot guard.
4 with the Forlorn Guard, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Does that match up against just the entire center dwarf line that's going to rebut everything? Like, are you going to be able to keep everything healed up?
Well, and that's the thing. Depending on how he deploys those organ guns, can really slow down those Aloha.
Yeah.
Especially because he can shut down their fly with 2 units. I'm liking the dwarf list against this list.
I played Kyle 2 years ago at Lonewolf with this, and he plays the list pretty well. It's like Rashad said, it looks like it's pretty much what he's been running, and so he's pretty experienced playing that list. And to me, what stands out is I don't know Andrew. I hope he has a great time coming, but 2 organ guns and then you take a Warsmith. That's a 3rd organ gun for that 85 points is such a better take. The shield breaker regiments just don't do anything for me. They're not something you generally see in competitive lists. A regiment of rifles is really not good. There's some good things his list does good, but just looking at the list, there's things that say a little bit more inexperience there, and I know Kyle knows what he's doing with that list. He has the speed edge, so I'm going to take Kyle in this one.
Real quick on the shield breakers. So if Kyle's using them the way we've been kind of playing around with them with George, he's going to be using those as flanking on the bulwarkers. And he's going to corkscrew those shield breakers into the side, and they're fantastic 130 points for doing exactly that.
Crush 2, hell yes.
And even with that 14-16 is enough that even for most things they're not going to pop on the initial charge, and Headstrong's going to keep them coming back at you.
I'm right there with you. I agree. I think the dwarf list has a little bit of an edge there. I'm going to go with them.
So first of all, if no one has Googled or gone to YouTube and put in Bear Force 1, you need to do so right now.
You need to do it with the safe search on.
Turn the volume up. It is an all male, all bear boy band, and by bear I mean large hairy gay man, singing covers of old songs and dancing in the surf in neon outfits. It's amazing. So
yeah, safe search on. Gotcha.
Everything I could wish it to be.
How did this list not get matched up against Bowman then?
Because I don't know that Bowman's showing up.
So props for being called Bear Force 1, even if he did not mean it that way. And actually, I sort of hope he didn't mean it that way, and is horrifiedly searching YouTube right now and saying, "What have I done?" So I mean, like, it's a very solid dwarf list. A lot of it is hitting on 4s, a whole lot, and I just kind of worry that with Kyle's speed around the Aloha, the Aloha, and the Phoenixes actually, which are generally heal bots, but even that breath attack can go.
Yeah, the breath can go good.
Do a whole lot of work on those, especially those little shield breaker regiments. They're only defense for 14-16 nerve,
or the characters,
or the characters for sure.
Because if he's trying to push drain life, he's going to be close.
I feel bad, but like Iron Belcher organ guns, I love at 3. I don't love as much at 2. I think an Aloha can get within charge range of them in cover and just shrug off their shots for that round and then go in and just start doing horrible things. I just think there's a lot more maneuverability there's a couple X factors in the dwarf list. I think that Greater Earth Elemental could be like one of the keys of the game if it's used well. But I'm going to edge it to Kyle because I think also because Kyle is bringing a Roman list that looks and plays like a Roman list, even though he's running in this Basilia. So
yeah, those
Plus Angels.
Yeah,
plus Angels. Yeah, why not?
Jeff,
God be with us. I think I'm going dwarf, and it's simply because I think the Brock Lord and the King can keep the and the organ guns can keep the Alohi in check, and that center is rock solid.
That's what I was going with too. Rashad, you're going with Kyle, right? Or have you changed your mind? Or are you taking another dump?
So large.
All right, we're going with.
Sorry, I'm mute. I'm here. I'm not doing another. That was a
He
mute
is
job.
taking a dump on mute. All right.
I am. No, I was going to say.
Rashad was on Bear Force 1.
I'm going with Kyle. I think he's got so much shield behind all those big blocks, and the dwarves are not notorious for being able to punch through stuff very easily. So I think he's got an advantage there. But it's really close, and I really like Andrew's list. It's a very versatile list. Like Brenton said, that Earth Elemental might be key, and the shield breakers. So yeah, but I'm still with that.
Cool. Okay, so table 33. This is David Bowman versus Andrew Atkins. Again, two players that haven't turned in their list. Andrew is going to be like a last-second decision. He's working on work and stuff, working out for him. Bowman is always late at getting his stuff in, so we'll see if he shows up. He should. It's a free weekend for him, so hopefully see him. Table 34, we have Justin Anderson versus Mark Thornsberg. I don't think Thornsberg ever actually got me his list, but he said he was going to. So I think you Austin guys, I think he's down by y'all, right?
Yeah, he's a real late ad. Like he was not planning on coming at all. And was it this week or just the Tuesday before?
Yeah, it was like a week ago.
It was all of us standing around telling him, no, come. Like, you don't have to pay for a room. Crash with us. Like, come experience it. He's a really good guy.
Cool. So I'll do Justin's list. Or actually, Todd, you can do Justin's list, but you also know Mark's general playlist. So if you want to do his stuff, I can take Justin's.
I don't have a list of his, but I can kind of talk about.
Well, yeah, just kind of like what he's using, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Just tell us if he sucks.
Well, he's new, man. You can't expect him to be amazing right off.
Oh, is he new? I'm sorry.
Yeah, brand new.
I'm sorry. This game is great, and we're all super friendly, and you should definitely come to
Britain
this tournament.
shits on your list because it's got two-handed weapons instead of fucking.
You should definitely come to this tournament, and everyone's really nice, and I won't be there. So
unless you bring Romans,
and he's gonna find you. Here's Justin's list. He is bringing Trident Realms. He has a horde of Knight Ensnarers. They have Banner of the Griffin. He has 2 troops of Thule. He has 2 regiments of the Heart Piercers. One of them has Brew of Keeniness. He has a horde of Depth Horrors. They have the Skull Pole. He has 2 hordes of Gigas, one with Blade of Slashing. He has a Kraken. He has a Nucker. He has a Naiad Centurion with Wings of the Honey Maze. He has a Naiad Envoy, Heal 3 and Shroud of the Saint. He has a Thule Mythican, Bane Chant 2, Aura of Heroism. He's bringing the Siren. And then he's got 2 formations. He's got Fury of the Sea and King of Crabs. And Fury of Crabs.
King Crabs gives the Gigas +1 speed and elite.
Correct. And then the
Suck it,
Fury of the
dwarves.
Sea gives you Naiad Ensnares, Naiad Ensnare Horde, 2 Naiad Heart Piercer regiments, a Naiad Centurion. Each of the units in this gains the Fury special rule, and the Heart Piercers get the Steady Aim special rule. Nifty, so they're shooting a little bit better.
a little bi-furious.
Steady aim lets them move and shoot, which is nice.
Gotcha. So Todd, give us a little rundown of like what Mark has been playing lately.
Yeah, Mark's a really great guy. He started around, I don't know, maybe a year ago or so. He started off playing a lot of dwarves, but lately he's been doing Varangur, and so I'm expecting a Varangur list from him. I'm I'm not sure exactly what that's going to look like. I haven't had a game against him in a while. But a pretty standard Varinger fare. Guys were helping him come up with a list for it. Really super nice guy. Very excited about the hobby. He's been playing Dead Zone and other things, and this will be a fun table.
Gotcha. So I mean, Varinger and Trident Realms is kind of what we're thinking, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of that Varinger.
Paper on paper, I automatically default to Varinger, but I mean,
Yeah,
with
especially
it being a better player, maybe the Trident Realms get the edge.
does Justin know how to use the Siren well?
I mean,
And there's no Shamblers in this list to really make use of the. Yeah, oh man. This is a fish sticks list.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, I don't think I'm not sure if Mark has ever played Trident Realms, and Ensnare can really be
sneak up on you.
Yeah, exactly. It's an interesting Trident Realms list. It's kind of take one of everything almost.
Yeah. Well, it's going to have the real hard center with the Gigas and maybe
2
the
Gigas in the end and snares.
And then
The ensnares.
Yeah. You could have all 4 of those. You could, yeah. I'm going to lean towards Trident Realm on this one, especially if he knows how to use Siren. If he doesn't, I still think there's an edge for the Trident Realms, but not as
well. He backed the Siren up with Drain Life, so she's not completely useless if he doesn't know how to use her.
She comes with Drain Life now.
Yeah, they swapped that in for
does she?
To give her something different. Not that you wouldn't Siren almost every single turn.
It's hard to say not having Mark's list in front of us.
I know.
But I'll go with Justin. I think the Ensnare is and that hard center is gonna give a little edge here.
Gotcha. Rashad, Brenton.
I'll go with I'll go with the Trident Realms. One piece, I can't really picture the Varinger list, even though I know that they're reliant on killing things on the first charge, kind of like my Undead are, and the Trident Realms have really good answers for that with all the ensnares.
It's true.
With Realms.
Well, for all the people in my life I've met, I've found that Justin's are far prettier than Mark's, so I'm going to go with Justin.
True.
Fuck you.
So it's hard when we don't know the list.
Yep.
But what like, so I'm going to speak in super large generalities. But one of the things Trident Realms hates is armies that don't have to charge it and can just shoot it to death and not really deal with it. And that's not a Varinger list. A Varinger list has to go into the teeth of it and deal with their stupid ensnare and deal with their, Naiad ensnares in the woods because they have nothing that's going to get rid of it except going in there and rooting it out. That being said, oftentimes Varinger just have enough raw power to deal with that. But I'll go Trident Realms because we know the list. It exists.
That works. All right, we are on the last table, table 35. And this is a challenge, so it's good that we're ending like that. We have Lennon Roy, who I think is watching Pet Cemetery right now, versus Theo Aubin. I don't think anybody knows Theo. Theo's one of Lennon's old friends from back in gaming days. So he's flying down from the Northeast to come to the tournament and play. And Lennon thought it'd be a good idea to challenge him. So Lennon's list is Abyssal Dwarves. He's got a regiment, 2 regiments of Immortal Guard. Both have swapped for Crushing, and both have Throwing Mastiffs. He's got 2 gargoyles. He's got 2 hordes of lesser obsidian golems. One of them has healing brew. He has 2 regiments of abyssal half-breeds. One has the caterpillar. One has brew of haste. He has a horde of abyssal grotesques with the brew of sharpness. He has 2 dragonfire teams. He has 1 abyssal ironcaster supreme ironcaster on great winged half-breed. He's given him Surge 10 and Shroud of the Saint. Shroud of the Saint. He's got Heal Warrange in the golems. Okay, that's why. He's got Dravik Dalkin and Infernok. And that is Lennon's 2,300 point list. Who's got Theo? I think Rashad, you've got it.
Yep. Let me read Theo's list.
Cool.
Theo is running Varangur. He's coming with a horde of cave trolls with the Staying Stone and another horde of cave trolls with the Brew of Courage. The Fallen with the Whip of Celerity. The Horde. Another horde of Fallen with the Brew of Haste.
Mm-hmm.
A troop of Tundra Wolves. Another troop of Tundra Wolves. Mounted Sons of Korgan with the Gift of Korgan gaining Fury and with Magwar's Potion of the Caterpillar. 1 Ice Queen with Famulus, which grants Elite. She has swapped Wind Blast for Heal 3 for free and has the Shroud of the Saint, so that's essentially Heal 6 with Elite.
Yep, that's really good.
For very cheap. Magnilda of the Fallen. A King of Chimera with the Gift of Korgan Fury. And the Boots of Levitation. Very interesting. So you can fly 20 and breathe.
Breath. Yeah.
Cave Troll King. Troll King's Horde, which is a formation, and Herger's Vengeance, which is also a formation. Let me read it. I'm somewhat familiar with both of them. So Herger's Vengeance gives the Fallen Hordes and Magnilda Pathfinder. And if you take this formation, you cannot take any allies. And the Troll King's Horde gives both Troll Kings, both Hordes and the Troll King Headstrong, which is arguably also very, very strong.
Good Lord, that's an awesome list. Lennon's list is okay.
Lennon does out unit strengthen by 4, I think.
Let's see. 2, 4, 6.
You lose a point for nimble, right?
Yeah, nimble or fly.
So yeah, the Fallen lose a point. Yeah, I think that's right.
Interesting that Boots of Levitation on the King is like a smart choice that I really haven't seen played much because it's a 30 points that you always want to go 20
Well, usually you see it on dragons.
Yeah,
I mean, it
I
works
actually don't.
I didn't like it.
With the elf dragon is one
Go
thing.
ahead. I think we're going to say the same thing.
15, 16 breath, but only breath 10. 30 points to just get that round of breath 10 does nothing for me.
My thinking on it is more like you were going to go 20 in your first turn and pivot, so you might as well be able to breathe. It might not be the best thing, but yeah, you're right. It's not the best choice. I like it.
I don't like that, but I do like the rest of the Varangur list as much as I can like that list because I hate Varangur. But yeah, I think that list has all it needs to deal with what Lennon's rocking, to be honest.
I mean, I think it does too. I do think overall, it's a weird thing to say, but the Varangur list seems short, like one more real threat. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but like the cave trolls, they're tough, but they're hitting on 4s, they're 18 attacks, so they're sort of that in between, like a hammer and an anvil. And it looks with Brew of Courage and Staying Stone, they're definitely more on the sort of anvil side, or just something to hold. So you have 2 Fallen and you have Mounted Sons, and I know there's the Magnilda, the King, and the Cave Troll are all strong, but they're not packing a ton of attacks. So it's really just those.
Well, the King's packing 10.
Yeah,
Magnilda's
no,
got
I
7. I mean, that's.
I just
they're
like
gonna hit.
I feel like a lot of times the classic sort of Varangur is a couple fallen, either 2 mounted suns or a mounted suns plus
And
dire
Dire
fangs.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's one really big hitty thing light. I don't think that's gonna drop them in this matchup. I think it still has enough there to outmaneuver and beat up on Linen's force. And it has a lot of really tricky tools with Magnilda, the king. That cave troll on a 50 mil base size is good amount of attacks plus a breath attack. So I think it has enough for this. I just think it might struggle later on against some more some of the other lists we've seen.
Yeah.
So I'm picking it for this one, but I think it's scary in this matchup. It's not as scary in some others.
I agree with you.
The fact that he dropped the Immortal Guard down to defense 4 versus defense 5. So, I mean, the Fallen are going to be able to grind through that pretty easily.
Mm-hmm. You'll win them on 2s.
Yeah, I'm not super. I think I got to lean through to the Varangur. Much as I'd like to throw some positive vibes towards Lennon's way. I don't know how he's finished in the past, but it looks like all of his shooting, most of it anyway, the Ice Queen can manage that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him putting out a whole lot of attacks in shooting until they get close. And
Yep.
once they're close, they're going to start picking units up. So then it's going to be spot healing. He doesn't have to heal a whole lot with that 6 heal on the Ice Queen. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the Varangur have this one pretty handily. Rashad, I think you're the only one who hasn't picked.
Yeah, I was gonna initially go with Varangur as well because they look very strong, but like Brenton pointed out, they lack 1 unit maybe, and it's because there's a lot of items on all the units and a lot of like gifts and everything.
Yeah.
And I think Lennon is probably a little bit more experienced also with this, with the game in general on the list. If he's a newer player, I would say. Not sure about that, but again, I shouldn't make it dependent on that. I like the Abyssal Dwarves a little bit better here with the golems and the survivability.
Yeah, I think it's just a better matchup for the Varangur, but I get where you're coming.
Yeah.
I think people. I mean, it's not the typical auto build Varangur, but I mean, do we really want to see net lists anyways? And I think I personally I love cave trolls. I mean, that crush 3 on them, the high nerve. They may be the best trolls in the game. And with this, he's got a lot of speed to get at most people. And if you do break through those frontline units, then now you're staring the cave trolls and the cave troll king in the face, and they can pick up what's left of you. I actually really like the list.
Yep.
Actually, Mark, flip-flop me over to Lennon.
Really? Okay.
The more I'm looking at that, the more I'm liking it. Yeah.
All right. I think you're wrong, but I will respect your decision.
There's about 20 other tables that I'm probably wrong on too.
I do like the idea that Lennon has multiple sources of heal specifically for Infernock.
Yep.
And that Infernock is just the only thing left at the end of the game untouched.
Yeah, true.
I don't know.
You can do it with the
win.
obsidian golems too. So
There's a lot of heal versus a lot of heal. Lennon has 14 drops and Theo has 11 too, so that's also something to consider. But yeah.
Well, he's also got, like I said, 4 more unit strength as well, which could be key late in the game.
could be, but if you're picking up unit strength first and going after the individual shit second, then
I don't know. I mean, the unit strength is in speed 8 units or defense 6 units. Defense 6 monster. It's not an easy pickup. And those movement 5 trolls, Lennon can reach out and touch them if he wants to.
yeah, we'll see.
I don't know. It'll be a good
I
table.
agree with you. So that does it for the table reads. I know some of you guys weren't on for the first cast. Maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. any lists that stand out as just like off the wall, all-time favorite for what we've read? I know that's tough going back and thinking through everything.
I like Michael Piercy's list because it is different than the it's sort of like, especially at Masters and a couple others, we saw Rat Cannon, we saw very effective, very high unit strength, every horde you could put on the table. And in my mind, that just sort of became what our Rat Cannon. I hear Rat Cannon, I'm like, great, it's going to be 8 hordes, cool. And this is different. I don't know that it's going to work yet. It'll be fun to see, but I think it's at least a different take on Ratkin, which I appreciate seeing. So.
Gotcha.
For me, Dustin's list, it's not the standard Trident realms that I think you see a lot, but I like a lot of what's in it. He's been doing really well. He started coming out to Austin semi-regularly to get hordes of games in against us, and he's been doing really well with this list. I kind of like what he's got.
Gotcha.
I forgot about that one because it seems so long ago that we talked about it. It feels like a different
3
tournament.
days, right? Yeah.
So many beers ago.
Oh God, who was it? Where is he? So I don't know why I like Roger Hedgepeth's Brotherhood list. Yeah, I think it's just because I secretly want to make Brotherhood work, and he's got an interesting take on it. Is it the greatest list that's ever seen the light of day? No, but I think it's an interesting take on Brotherhood, something that I haven't really kind of, when I try and put it together, I haven't gone that route with it yet. I like it.
Was he the one facing a Rordia list that was just going to do terrible things to him?
Yeah, that was him. Yeah.
I like that Rordia list too.
Yeah, that Rordia list is really nice. Tim Gleese's triple Colossal Giant.
Oh, yeah. Can't sleep on that
with
one.
a
That's a
good player. Honestly, that JP Scott, that piece of shit list I'm faced up against, is a really good list that could go far in the tournament.
Well, he's a good player too, so I mean, that's not a bad bet.
But and then yeah, obviously I do like Dustin's Trident list because it's not as much of a gimme. It's more of one he's got to earn a little bit. But he's gonna do well with. Oh no! Nick Michelotus's fucking Rats for Days.
That was a good one.
I mean, I think that one was good, but it didn't stand out to me as being super interesting. Maybe I'm not remembering it well enough, but it felt
maybe not interesting, but
no, it was it's kind of an improvement on Corey Reynolds' Masters list.
Yeah.
It
felt like an evolution, which is great, and that's how you get a lot of good lists. It's just it felt like we've seen this before with a few tweaks. And
I don't know if I'd call that an improvement on Corey's list, honestly.
Well, yeah, you don't like Hordes of Tortured Souls, Todd, so of course you wouldn't like it.
Who the fuck would take those?
Let's.
I do think Andrew Durson's list is pretty rock solid as well. And I think it will go far. It'll go at least 3 games, even though he doesn't get a lot of play.
We just read his. What table is he on?
He's number 27.
Yeah, I see him.
He's the Romans.
That's right. Yeah, that was an interesting one.
You know, it's surprising to me. I haven't listened to there was a podcast already, I think, right? But I haven't listened to it. I didn't see much. I didn't see many undead lists in here. And I'm looking through it and I actually don't see that many undead in here. And I'm looking
there's a few. There aren't a lot.
So apparently everyone decided to bring salamanders and trident realms.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Like 2 of the sort of considered, and I'm not trying to get into the whole debate about what is actually a bad army in Kings of War. I think they're all pretty good, but like 2 of the generally considered worst armies in the game, everyone's like, let's all agree to bring, knives to a gunfight.
I'm
Salamanders
weren't. I saw the same thing.
the salamanders were not bad last year, and I think people took time to get armies put together to be able to start taking them this year. That was a rock solid army even last year.
Yeah, so I don't know enough about playing salamanders to agree or disagree on that, but I do find it interesting that like there's this lag period between people identifying things they want to play, and then it's like a year later that they actually get to play them. And we might just be seeing everyone jumping on a salamanders bandwagon. It just takes a year to do it.
Mm-hmm. Salamanders are definitely better. I still think they are lower on the power curve, but at the same time,
you're wrong.
It's not a shitty GW game. The power curve isn't that big. They're in a better spot than they ever have been. I do really like the Ancients formation this year.
So did everyone else.
Yeah.
What amazed me is nobody took the Tyrant formation, and that Tyrant formation is still money with the 2 regiments and the Horde. Especially you give that Horde a brew of sharpness, and then you give that stuff Strider. It's money in the bank.
Yeah, I thought.
The problem you have is real quick is salamanders have 3 great formations. Mm-hmm. They're one of the few armies that all 3 of them are absolutely viable.
Yeah, they're good. I was gonna say the salamanders. I think they have been good. You know, when I hear people say they're not top tier, I've been thinking, you know, they have good hammers. They have a lot of versatility in the list. Maybe not the best at everything, but they have kind of like a little bit of everything. And but going back to the favorite lists, I have 2. So I have one that is for what we just looked at today, which would be, I thought Brian Brodeur's list was really good, because not in terms of like necessarily being competitive against everything, but how much fun you have playing that list. Horde of Warriors with Strength, 3 Siege Breakers, Boomers with Heart Seeking, Warlock in there, Boomer Surgeon, the Red Goblin Bigot with the Crystal Pendant or Retribution might be my favorite. So it's like a really fun list. And then rounded up with the Colossal Giant and the Magarok. I think that's awesome. And then Dan Kamek's list was also really cool, with so many shooting sources, so much shooting coming from different sources. I think that's really good list as well that I haven't mentioned yet.
Yeah. Who's y'all's favorite to win the event?
That Brad list is still filthy, and you got.
I agree.
You got to. I mean, I would rather face this than what he had at Masters, but I wouldn't look forward to playing it. And you got to be the man. You got to beat him. So yeah, Brad.
I think that's a solid choice. I think the nice thing about this list is that you've got a better shot of actually getting to play combat than getting shot up as you walk across the board and not really ever getting to engage. So I like that. Still going to kick your ass, but at least he's going to do it in combat now.
Okay, so say this comes down to game 5, and you end up with a matchup of Dustin and Brad. Pull those 2 lists up and take a look at them. I think Dustin's got all the tools to absolutely deal with those, with what Brad's rocking there. And I think I've got to end up siding on Dustin's end, because I think he's going to make those knuckers work.
You don't think? Well, I mean, yeah, they've got the stealthy, but
he's got all the heal to heal up those wounds that those chariots are doing. All that ensnare is going to really slow down those Dark Knights. That's a good matchup.
I mean, no one's mentioned him yet. Because it's another sort of filthy list, so we're not going to call it out as something we love, maybe. But Aaron's list is pretty nasty, too. I mean, it's maybe a better version of what he was doing with Varangur a couple years ago. It's another list that's going to be up there at the top contending.
So right now our top contending is Brad, Dustin, and Aaron. Can we just ask them who's going to win? Like, hey, you guys have played a lot of practice games. Could you just tell us the records and we'll get a pick right? No, I mean, I think those are good. I actually like Dustin's list a lot in those matchups. They're all tough. You know, it's a really weird list, but I want to see what happens with Patrick Zoro Allen's list. And if he plays it, if he plays it really well and we're all wrong and he's doing stuff that we're not ready for, I think that could go far.
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that's I was just putting in another vote.
Yeah, no, Pat's list. I didn't listen in. If you guys weren't seeing what he does with that, he's fucking rocking that list.
Yeah, the challenge we had with that was he was playing against essentially MSU Twilight Kin with shooting sources all over the board. So that was we're like, hey, this list looks really cool from Patrick, but this might be the thing that counters it.
He's playing that super interesting. He's playing it almost in a fashion I would see Jeff play some stuff that I don't see a lot of other people run those things.
Let us know all his secrets.
The way he pilots it, I can't give all my boys' secrets away, but the way he pilots it's very, very interesting, and he plays it really, really well. It's a tough list.
It's like an old love he's picked up again now that they have a little bit of Thunderers and but he's making really not great units work really well though, right?
Yeah.
Not like they're amazing rules.
Well, I also don't believe anything Todd's saying now.
It's a conspiracy.
He's like, oh, he's playing it this way. He's doing this tricky thing, and that's not at all. It's all grand strategy now.
Misinformation. Nifty. Any other call outs you guys want to make before we close it out?
No, just one. I was going to do a screen share of some Bear Force 1 video.
Oh, you want to
Damn straight.
right ahead.
Someone needs to.
One second. Let me switch over to the hotness.
Got to change all your porn settings.
Oh, it's can you see my screen?
We can see your screen. I don't know that it's going to unmute.
So much potential for having people join this group.
This is West Coast region team next year's Masters outfits. You got a preview.
White pants.
Looks like Robbie King's already on the team.
Robbie King, Sean Bright.
They have Jean-Claude Van Damme dance moves.
Anyways.
This is what we get for letting the West Coast on our chats.
They're improved, yes.
Just homophobic. There's nothing wrong with group showers like that.
Not at Masters.
So I don't use Google Hangout, and I have no idea how to turn off this screen share. So, oh, there it goes. Okay.
Bear Force for days.
All right. We're done. We're done it. We'll see all you guys in about a week. Those of you who are coming, it's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys have any last-second questions or anything, I'm going to send out an email on hopefully Saturday or Sunday with the last-second things that you guys are going to want to need or know or whatever. Todd, Rashad, Jeff, Brenton, Jeremy, and I'm forgetting somebody. Thanks, you guys, for taking the time to jump out here and do this with us. I know it's like 6 hours of your time, so I really appreciate it. The players really appreciate it, too. They love doing these things. So thank you guys so much for knocking this out with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and hopefully no one takes anything we said too personally, except some of it.
Fuck you. It's all very serious.
Yeah.
I didn't decide the future of your children's lives.
Yeah, I didn't mean most of what I said, but some of it I meant completely. So
it's up to you to decide.
I meant it all. 100% twice.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll close it out. We'll see you later.
Thanks.
Yep. See you later.